here's the story. I don't know why I'm looking over here either. I didn't move my stuff around. See? So when I went to high school, I switched. I had to obviously start a new school, and all right, 1 second, hold on. I gotta recover from surgery. Everything. Hold on. Yeah, I showed up at my new high school as a freshman, and first day, this kid runs up to me, and he was like he was like a junior or senior or whatever, and he just like walks by me in the hall, and immediately he was just like, "This sounds so racist now." Like repeating this story back, like what is it? 25 years later, just sounds crazy. But literally looks at me and he's like, "Oh my god, do you play basketball?" Because like he just like there was no other like it was me and this other dude, like both the same skin tone. We're like the only two black dudes in the whole school. So he just like rolled up and was just like "Do you play basketball?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, thank God." And then he just walked away from me. Oh yeah, so I have plenty of white friends. Plenty. Oh, I feel like I'm like sitting low today. Oh, what's going on? Hold on. Might just be my camera. Like the adjustment on my camera is just barely off. Oh. There we go. Have I seen the Obama AI video? I don't know. Probably. Hunch right now, this trimmer level is called I should have done it 2 days ago. It's like one of my favorite trimmer levels. I'm not working because I just had surgery, and so I'm just not doing anything with it. That's all it is. Because I don't feel like I don't have to look like a professional when every time I leave my house it hurts. So yeah. Yeah, I've been like trying to like get up because the doc was like, "Oh, you need to stay like walking around and like all that sort of stuff will help you. Like, don't overdo it, but like it'll help you." And it's like, okay, cool. And so like I'm trying to walk around, but every single time I just barely overdo it, and then I'm hurting. Just sucks. So my recovery's supposed to be a couple weeks, so it's not anything too crazy. I'm a busybody. Well, I'm a busybody. I like to be doing stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so it's hard to keep me just like sitting still for forever. But anyways, as you guys are coming in, thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. I told you guys I'm going to be on a little earlier while I'm in surgery recovery. Well, like I said yesterday, the big reason why I'll be on early because of surgery recovery is because I'm supposed to be taking it easy. And funny enough, this is the thing that helps me stay keeping it easy the best. Because if I'm on here talking and having conversations and I'm not doing stuff I'm not supposed to be doing. So that is one reason why I'll be on early. It's because it helps keep me in a stationary position. The other reason is because honestly, I get really tired a lot earlier right now. And so I know normally I'm on like 6, 7 o'clock or whatever, but I get really tired. And so I'm trying to get on a little earlier because by later on in the day, I'm just wiped. I'm just absolutely wiped. So, yep, that's why you'll see me a little bit earlier. But anyways, as you guys are coming in, please welcome in. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you're on the TikTok side, if we can get this thing up to about 20,000 likes, I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. On the YouTube side, hi, welcome in. Make sure you guys are hitting that subscribe button if you're new here. If you guys are a paid subscriber on TikTok or a paid member on YouTube, I did add a couple new emotes in today, which are really cool. I added a Butt Biden one and a nuh one. Lindsay, thank you so much for the money gun. I added both of those in so we can have a lot of fun with those too. So if you are a paid sub or a paid member, use the new emotes. Also, I'm always ready for some new emotes and some new stuff too. They're really fun for me. I like having them up there and keeping them updated and stuff. So if you guys like them or you guys want new ones, let me know. Also, I do. If you create them for me, I almost guarantee you they'll show up. If you create them for me, then I'll definitely put them up. But yeah, but I did the best I can with those. That's not my strong suit. So I'm just doing my best. Pretty soon we're gonna open up these phone lines and these guest request box, and we're going to have. Oh yeah, Jonathan, I forgot I even added that one. Jonathan. But anyways, yeah, pretty soon we're gonna open up these phone lines, open up these guest request box. That way, if you voted for Trump, you can come up and have a conversation with me, and you can tell me why. I know that a lot of Trump supporters are, losing a lot of their energy, right? A lot of their energy for because this Epstein files thing, and I know it must be really tiring having to defend Trump with the Epstein files stuff. But Biden, this is about Trump, not Biden. 100% Mirror Man. That's why it's funny that every time I try to get a Trump supporter to talk about Trump, they immediately go, but Biden. But Biden. I tried calling in. Yes, Texas, I see that you did. I just haven't opened up the phone lines yet. You don't care about the files? Well, then you're weird, Kevin. If you don't care about the files, that's even weirder. Okay? You should definitely care about the files. That would be strange. But I hope you guys are enjoying the new emotes and stuff like that. I am going to open up these phone lines since people are trying to call in on me over here. So let's see if we can get some conversations going, whether that's on. I want to take a few more TikTok guests today too. I haven't been taking TikTok guests lately. But my goal is to get at least 2 or 3 TikTok guests in today too, over the course of the next 2.5, 3 hours. So, but yeah, phone lines are now open. Wait, did someone just call and it didn't ring? I might have to reset my phone. We should care about everything our government does. 100%. Yes, we should. We should 100% care about everything our government does because it's our government, right? That's weird to not care. That's very, very weird to not care. All right. Well, there were some callers. I guess they decided they didn't want to come anymore, so that's fine. We'll see if I have anyone over on the TikTok side. Nope. No one that matters is on the TikTok side. Just one person. But just let you know, like threatening me and stuff in the chat is a great way to make sure that I will never bring you out. Yeah. See how he's putting in there. He's scared to let me up. That will guarantee you, if you type stuff like that in my chat, that will guarantee you that I will not bring you up. See, it should be ringing. People are calling. What is going on? Oh, I know what's going on. Caller, hold on real quick. Things are messed up on my side. Stand by.
No problem.
Hello?
I'm still here. Yep.
Awesome. Sorry, it was ringing. I just didn't have the correct audio output. So that was on me. I changed it around while I was doing some videos earlier. So, awesome stuff. So, how old are you?
Yeah. So my name is Michael. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm 35.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Of course I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
So one thing I did when you mentioned about the all Trump supporters say, well, about Biden, I hate that. I hate that we focus so much on the past. We need to focus on the future and taking care of things at hand. That's just my personal opinion. So I agree with you on that, 100%.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say that I think that 100% we should not look at the past. We should definitely look at the past, right? That's how we make sure that we don't repeat, past mistakes, like, well, honestly, we could have, not repeated this, whole presidency if we had learned from the mistakes from the first time, right? But I do think at a certain point when every singular thing that happens with Trump, every single time he's in a corner, every single time there's something going on he doesn't like, then the next thing that he says is something about Biden or Obama. It's a complete lack of accountability from somebody who's supposed to be a leader. And I keep being told he's this great leader, but there's like first line of things when it comes to being a great leader is taking accountability for the things that you're leading, and he refuses to do so.
Absolutely. So, and I love good constructive conversations that are on both sides. So, I got a question for you, actually, and this is kind of why I saw your thing today. So, I was watching. Have you seen the documentary Traffic with that Mulaney from Geographic Channel?
No.
So, there's a new episode that came out, I think yesterday or the day before that. Says it was. She basically is. Her name's Mulaney. It's called Traffic. She does really cool documentaries and goes really deep into like places you shouldn't be as a journalist to get kind of the stories of everything deep in between.
I think I saw a
And there was a
commercial
new.
for that actually. I haven't watched it, but I
It's
think I saw
wonderful.
I think I saw a commercial for it or something. But yeah, sorry, go
It's
ahead.
so so there was an episode that came out. It said Cartel USA. I recommend watching it for everybody that's reading the comments and stuff. And so one of the reasons you said, well, do you support Trump and why? Well, one of these things that's going on, and I have a lot of Spanish friends and family that are going through hardships in their own way with this deportation stuff in their own efforts. But the other side of things, looking at the other side of things, was that Cartel USA documentary is really good. It kind of taught me that we don't realize, a lot of Americans don't realize how close to home it really is, and why it's important to really try to figure out all the people that came over the last couple of years and figure out where they're really from, what they're part of, to create safety for your own people, like your own family, your neighbors, everybody that create a safer environment. So I do agree with some of the things he's doing, especially after watching that documentary.
But Donald Trump's not doing that. That's the issue, right? If Donald Trump's stance was we should just go after criminals, we should go after, making sure we get cartel members out. If we, like have people with, evidence of crimes, we need to go after them and attack them, very strongly. We need to make ICE stronger in order to stop the cartels and stop the criminals. Then me personally, and I think I can speak for, most of the left when I say that would not be a problem. That's not who Donald Trump is going after, right? And actually, Stephen Miller specifically told ICE to stop going after criminals and start going to Cardenas, Marcus's, and 7-Elevens, right? Because his entire point of his immigration is to put people in prison or deport people to countries that they don't belong who have done nothing illegally except for cross the border, right? And so while I can completely agree with you that we need to know who's in this country, and that we need to have strict immigration laws to stop the cartels from coming over here, that's not where Donald Trump is putting the resources.
Well, when I politely say this, I'm curious where you're getting your facts, because I did a lot of deep diving on the people that they're arresting. Yes, there's innocent people that are being arrested that maybe should not be part of that, but especially that documentary watching, there's a lot of criminals literally everywhere. And in certain places that, you put a sanctuary city, all of California, New York, where you could basically say, hey, you can live here, do what the heck you want, you won't get caught, no trouble, you won't be arrested by ICE. Why do you think he's going after them first? Because
that's not what
those
a
are the
sanctuary
places
city
that
is.
have them the most.
That's not what a sanctuary city is.
Sanctuary, okay.
Yeah. A sanctuary city just says that local law enforcement is not going to cooperate with federal immigration law enforcement, right? But that's not stopping federal law enforcement from
So
going in and doing their job. They have federal, authority and jurisdiction to go in and do their job. And it's not saying that the crimes that they commit are somehow not illegal, right? If local law enforcement does prosecute people and arrest people for doing crimes regardless of their immigration status, it's just saying that they don't cooperate with them. But if Donald Trump wanted to go after undocumented migrants, in and use ICE in order to do it in a sanctuary city, he has that authority. There's no problem with that. Here's what my issue is that Donald Trump is not going after the people in the places where there's even the most migrants, right? He specifically started going after, the people within the agricultural industry and within the hospitality industry. And then he realized that
Los
was
Angeles?
no, sir. That was before he started going after Los Angeles. See, what happened was he was going after agriculture and hospitality industries, and then that started crippling those industries. So then he came out and said, "Oh, well, we're going to stop going after agriculture and hospitality people, and we're going to go start attacking people in blue sanctuary cities." So this has nothing to do with him trying to get the criminals out, and has everything to do with the fact that he's just trying to punish California, or what he considers, these blue cities, by having immigration officials in there, even though that we show from the census data that the majority of migrants are moving away from places like California.
Right, but the most are in California, and I know this from through family members and friends. And so to say that, if back to the conversation before was, if I'm able to be less worried about getting arrested for doing trouble wrong, the sanctuary city is probably a place I want to go compared to anywhere else.
Why?
I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't know what being in a sanctuary city would have to do with anything.
Because you can hide,
No.
more with the sanctuary city with the protections that state has, or that governing
Nope.
issue has in that area.
Nope. That's not what a sanctuary city is.
Okay, so do you see more raids happening in non-sanctuary states like, I don't know, North Dakota, South Dakota, maybe Georgia, compared to California?
No, you see it more in California because
Exactly, but why?
because Donald Trump specifically came out and said that I am not going to go after the people in the red states, and I'm going to go after the people in the sanctuary cities. Donald Trump is putting ICE in those spots regardless of whether that's where the issue is, and he's saying it out loud. These aren't things that are like hidden. Like, this isn't like something that I can't find, right? These are out of Donald Trump's own mouth and on Donald Trump's Truth Social. Is him saying, I'm not going to go after like the farming industry in the Midwest, in the red areas where my constituents are, because when he did go after that, it was putting farms out of business in red states. And so the red congressmen, right, were like, oh, well, you need to stop doing deportations in these spots. So he was like, fine, I'll just go after people in states that don't already agree with me.
So people of South Central LA, right, and all that, farmers pay, they pay taxes every year. They still pay taxes every year. They don't have any, really, most of them will not have a criminal record. That farmer work hard every day, work 18 hours a day, compared to someone in South Central LA. Wouldn't it make more sense to go to people in South Central LA with a criminal record, or a better chance to catch someone with a criminal record, than a farmer who pays his taxes and is working 18 hours a day, stays out of trouble? I mean,
I think that's
philosophy there.
A pretty ridiculous stance to have, to think that just because somebody lives in Los Angeles, they're all of a sudden more likely a criminal. And that's like really like not like very, very not very good to like say, to be completely honest with you. I don't even really know how to phrase how like it's sad that is. But no, sir, Donald Trump is specifically going after people in sanctuary cities, yet less than 15% of the people that he's deporting have a criminal record outside of outside of illegal entry.
Right, and there should be a program for the people that are arrested that don't have a criminal record, to be able to get a chance to be able to be, allowed back in with a legalization plan, right, and all that stuff. But you have a better chance again of catching criminals in certain places than others. That's all.
But you don't, because Donald Trump is not going after criminals. Okay, you catch more criminals than you do non-criminals if you specifically target criminals. But Donald Trump isn't targeting criminals. Again, Stephen Miller told the heads of ICE to stop going after criminals and to start going to Home Depots and 7-Elevens or Cardenas Markets and 7-Elevens. That was a direct order from the Trump administration to ICE. Okay? He would catch more criminals if he went after criminals. But what he's doing is detaining people who are at their freaking immigration hearings, dude. People who are literally like people you talk about like doing things the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like people are literally at their immigration hearings at the court trying to do things legally, and ICE is rolling up without badges with masks on, snatching them out of immigration court and freaking and pulling them away from their families, and then not even sending them back to their own country. He's sending them to other countries. Right? This isn't to stop criminals. This is just purely for cruelty.
I will not disclose the people that I know, but I know people have actually been to their hearings and recently to check in and haven't had any issues. So why are certain people checking in and going and others are not?
Sir, what you're pretty much saying is, oh, I saw 2 people get doused in gasoline. I saw a guy light one guy on fire. But I saw another guy where he didn't. So that's not happening. Like
what I'm saying is there is, I think the news and everything blows up something so much to really, try to make it out there to say that, our side is wrong or their side's wrong. But in reality, I know people personally that have checked in recently, haven't had any issues, say, hey, come back, next, 6
did
months
I
or a year to come
say
check back in.
Every single person was ripped out of immigration court?
What I'm saying is, don't you think maybe that someone could have done a crime, even a minor one, that was on the record when they went to go check in, and that was an issue? Like, there's got to be 2 sides of the story, and that's the problem.
There's
both
not 2
Republicans
sides
and Democrats.
Sir, I have both
we never
sides.
look at 2 sides of the story.
I have both sides of the story. I have Donald Trump's administration. Sir, here's both sides of the story. Donald Trump is saying, go after people that aren't criminals. Okay, go to places where freaking people are here, people are here, mind their own business, like you said, paying taxes, going to work. He's telling his ICE to do that, and then the other side of the story is my side, which is ICE actually doing it. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, it's exactly what the right is saying they want to happen, is exactly what the left is saying is happening.
I feel, I apologize for sounding like I'm being disrespectful right now, but I feel like you, and I've listened to your stuff, you don't seem like you have one narrow path that you see, and that's it. There's not even, you don't even look at everything as a whole. This is my path, and everything that's said differently from it doesn't make sense.
That's not it at all, sir. You're right, I do have one path. That path is the path that is backed up with facts and evidence. See, your path so far during this conversation has been, I knew a guy, all right? Or I have family, or I have friends, or I have whatever. Hold on, sir. Yeah, I have some documentary. Okay, well, you have a documentary, sir, and I have the words out of Trump's mouth. I have the words out of the Trump administration's mouth, and I have the court documents from all of these things happening.
So why don't you just at least take some time this evening to just watch that documentary, just to get
why do everything what is the documentary going to tell me? What is a documentary going to tell me, sir? I could watch a documentary on why Sasquatch exists.
Expand your mind.
Does that
expand your mind?
I can watch it. I've literally watched documentaries on how Sasquatch exists and how they found ghosts in old houses.
Well, that's not part of this conversation.
I know, but just because I can watch a documentary on something doesn't change reality. Okay? Yeah, documentaries are fine. Documentaries can be educational. Documentaries can provide you with information. But I don't need information to know whether Sasquatch exists. No matter how many documentaries I watch on Sasquatch, he still doesn't exist, and nothing is going to change my mind unless new evidence is presented in which he does, i.e., there's a picture of Sasquatch, right? So when I have all of the evidence, when I have the people on video being taken out of immigration courts, when I have that literal judge who was arrested by the Trump administration and charged with a crime for trying to sneak out somebody who was in her immigration court because she didn't believe that it was right for the Trump administration to be arresting people inside of an immigration court, right? When I have that entire court documents, when I have all of the eyewitnesses, when I have all of the information necessary, sir, I don't need now to go to a documentary to have someone else tell me how to think and feel about a situation because I already know how I think and feel because of the information and the data that I have. Now, when that information changes, I will then change my opinion along with it. Like if tomorrow they came out and they were like, yeah, the Trump administration has said, hey, we're going to stop going after all of these, innocent people and we're going to start going after criminals again. And then the data now backs that. Then I don't need a documentary to know that. I can say, hey, look, the Trump administration is saying that. And now I can see that they're actually doing that. So then my thought process on it will change because the data is now changed.
Right, but so not necessarily data is the that's going to teach you everything, right? I'm saying you got to look at the what to the why. I always look at the what to the why in my entire life. Why is it? Why is this happening? What's the what behind it? Why is this happening? And if the documentary is simply to say, hey, just expand your mind to see maybe there's two sides of reason why certain things are happening and why they have to happen a certain way. Not to say that they're right or wrong. And no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. No one's perfect. And there's things that are going to happen. But I'm just saying, on my side, I think that things need to be switched up a little bit, but they're going at least in a decent direction.
Sir, you're telling me that this documentary is about cartel activity and how horrific it is. I grew up just north of the southern border.
Did I say horrific? I didn't say horrific.
Well, I'll say it's horrific. That's fine. I'll say that the things that the cartel... That's fine. Whatever you said or didn't say, I'm telling you that the stuff that the cartel is doing is horrific. Okay. And I know this because I grew up close to the southern border and I've seen some of the things that the cartel has done, and that's absolutely horrible. Okay. But what you're relating, okay, is what the cartel is doing and the fact that we need to stop it, which I completely 100% agree with what Donald Trump is doing, which is not stopping it. Again, if Donald Trump's administration came out and said, we are going to attack cartels harder, we are going to take the full force of ICE and we're going to put it towards cartels and we're going to put it towards criminals, then I have zero complaint of that stance whatsoever. I think that stance would be amazing. But that's not his stance and that's not what he's doing. He is spending our tax dollars breaking down people's houses and jobs to get people who have done no violent crime whatsoever and not part of our cartel, okay, in order to hit some arbitrary 3,000 deportations a day, okay, just so he can say that he has this giant mass deportation. He doesn't care whether they're criminals or not. He doesn't care whether they're contributing to our economy or to our society. He doesn't care if they've lived here their entire lives or if their entire families are here. He doesn't care about that. He just wants them deported. And I don't think that is good.
There was one sentence that one of the main guys from the cartel said, and he said in that documentary to her, he said, the thing is, you'll never know we're around here. We blend in with our kids in the schools. You won't even know. And so if you don't know who's who, right, you have to go after everything you can.
Sir, by that logic, we would have to go after every single person that exists on our planet because you could say the exact same thing about Americans that are already here. You don't know whether the American that you're talking to at the grocery store or wait in line with is a bad person or a good person. They could be a defector to a terrorist organization. They could have very anti-American stances that we don't know anything about. Okay. So by that exact stance, every single person is a problem and every single person should be investigated and you never know who's who. Just saying that that's an immigrant thing because there are cartels. Yeah, there's also American gangs. There's also American domestic terrorist groups. There's a ton of different people that are out to hurt you and out to hurt everyone else. Just because someone's an immigrant doesn't make that more likely. Actually, data shows that undocumented immigrants are 30 times less likely to commit violent crimes than U.S. citizens.
I know a bunch of them, and they're fantastic people. I'm not denying that. Well, I got to get to the gym. It was a really good chat. At least we had to get some chat for about 30 minutes. Do appreciate your time today, sir.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Have a good one. Enjoy the workout.
You too, sir. Bye.
Bye. All right. Well, we're gonna move on to the next guest. That was a decent start to the day. All right, we're gonna keep this thing going. I really appreciate you guys. Again, if you support Trump and you'd like to call in, like that last guy, we can do that. And if you guys like to support, I do have super chats open on YouTube. Like Caleb, who said this is exactly what the government wants: division. I agree, sir. I completely agree that the Trump administration wants division. It's literally why the name of the live is the divider in chief. But thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I appreciate that. And Kalila, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Just as crack will continue to be fed into the hood, propaganda division will be sown into your neighborhoods and phones. Wake up, critically think, do your research, stop fighting against each other. Oh, that's very sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I agree that division will be thrown, especially by the media. The media will always try to divide because that's what gets them clicks. So that's definitely for sure. So, but thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Just like those, y'all, if you guys would like to send a super chat or whatever, I'll put it up on the screen. We'll talk about them. I really appreciate it. If you guys are on the TikTok side, I do have my pay links in my bio. I also have the Little Money Guns goal. So if you guys would like to support, I really appreciate that also. Hello, how are you? Hello? Hello, how are you?
Good. How about you?
How old are you?
I'm 18.
No, you're not. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Are you the guy on the...
And you're not either. All right. Let's see if I have any. Oh, I did say I was going to take a couple TikTok guests today. Let's see. Let's see who's in my TikTok guest box. Let's check that out. See if I got anyone over there. I did say I was going to do this today, so try to see if I can get phone calls and TikTok guests. See if I can do both. Hello, how are you? Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am good.
Awesome. How old are you?
49.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. Is there any way for you to sound like not like you're in a bathtub?
I can try to take you off of Bluetooth.
All right. Well, let's try that.
Hang on just a second. Can you hear me? Is this better?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. So why do you support Trump?
I support Trump because, now let me back up and say there are things that he says and does that I don't support. I'm not like a cult follower or anything. If he says shit that's crazy, I will be one of the first to say, damn, that's crazy. But overall, I support the belief system, the ideology of a smaller government, reining in government spending, restoring basically freedom of speech in America, getting rid of lawlessness, getting, where the people who don't agree with certain ideologies are getting canceled under the last administration. That's un-American. So, I feel like we're getting back to a little bit of normalcy under
I'm
Trump.
sorry. Hold on. Donald Trump literally violates the First Amendment. He's literally trying to denaturalize people who disagree with him. What are you talking about? Literally talking about the rule of law. He's a 34 times felon. I'm sorry. I don't think you said a singular thing there that actually. Oh, you said smaller government when literal government spending is at an all-time high right now. So literally nothing that you said is something Donald Trump is actually doing.
Okay, so why is government spending at an all-time high? Because of the ridiculous policies of the last 4 years.
Actually, government spending is at an all-time high specifically because of spending towards immigration.
Immigration or deportation?
Both. Deportations would fall under the umbrella of immigration.
So clearly you have a predefined list of things you want to go through. So
no, sir. I just literally addressed everything that you said. You created the list. I just responded to it.
So what? So show. What is that? Hang on. Sorry, the radio kicked on the car. Government spend. I can't see. Government spending is not at an all-time high. Like, where do you get that? The crime rates are lower than they've ever been in the United States right now.
Okay, crime rates were already at the lowest they were under Biden, but that has nothing to do with government spending.
under President, well, I'm giving you more of a list. Under President Trump's first administration, unemployment was at its lowest of all time until COVID hit. And then, COVID hit, they shut everything down, and then they wanted to blame Trump.
Yeah, and it was the lowest in history.
Unemployment went
Yeah, it was the lowest in history until Biden came in, and then Biden made the new lowest in history.
No, Biden made everything opened back up, and it was the largest drop in history, but it was not the lowest in history.
Yes, it was the lowest in history. The lowest
everything.
in history before under the Trump administration was 2.5%, and under Biden it was 2.4%. So yes, it was the lowest.
I never saw that number. I don't know where you're getting your numbers, but I never saw a number of 2.4 under Biden.
The Bureau of Labor and Statistics reported it, along with many other, but that's usually your first primary source.
So let's flip this. Why would Kamala have been a better candidate than Trump?
Anybody would have been a better candidate than Trump.
That didn't answer my question. Let's say,
sir,
Kamala
I can explain to you why my Australian Shepherd would be a better president than Trump.
Okay, do that. Then.
But Kamala Harris. Oh, why? Oh, because my dog doesn't know how to actually write policy. Okay, so therefore he could not have done anything hurtful to she could not have done anything hurtful to the United States, right? So my Australian Shepherd couldn't have possibly, tried to sign executive orders to try to, hurt the trans community, or try to put on tariffs on countries that we don't have trade deficits with, pushing other countries away. See, just the absolute ability to do absolutely nothing is better than what Trump is doing. All right. So, and I'm sure we could have gotten her to sign.
So that's why you supported Biden.
That's why I supported Biden. What do you mean?
So that's why you supported Biden, because he did absolutely nothing, because he wasn't even cognitively able to support. Really, CNN has even come out and said there was a massive cover-up of his cognitive decline.
I could not give a shit what CNN says.
So
I could not care less, dude. Seriously, nobody watches CNN. Your guys' whole but CNN said thing is very, very outdated. Everyone hates CNN, especially the left.
Well, that's good to know.
Why is that good to know?
So, because they are always spreading false narratives. So I mean, the one time
they're just annoying because they've tried so hard to be neutral that they've stopped being neutral, which is crazy. But regardless, they've become completely ineffective. Actually, yeah, CNN was always the more neutral one of all of them. That's why a lot of people watched them, because they were the most neutral. You had Fox, which was very right wing, and then on the other side you had MSNBC, which was very left wing. And CNN was at a certain point the most neutral. They had a slight left lean, but they were the most neutral news station to watch. But I guess they, I don't know what happened to them, but they just tried to be so neutral that they really just stopped reporting anything. And it was just, they were just trying not to offend everyone. And so at that point, you're worthless. I'd watch Fox News before I watch CNN.
Narrative, that's why.
I'm sorry. Is someone else talking to me or something?
Yes, my wife. Hang on.
I said the reason why the progressives hate CNN is because they stopped reporting the progressive nutcase narrative.
Again, CNN never reported that stuff, which I already just stated. CNN was actually, again, very close to the center, very left center. They just stopped reporting anything, which means they're a waste of time. I can deal with any news organization regardless. I can deal with any news organization regardless of which way they lean. That doesn't really bother me, because I'm able to understand. I don't really care what you doubt. Okay.
And I don't really care what you doubt.
I didn't say I doubted anything.
What you don't like. I don't care what you don't like.
I didn't say I didn't like anything either.
Yes, you did. You're a very unhappy, miserable person.
I'm happier than it sounds like you will ever be.
You can't even have a healthy debate.
Ma'am, I tell you one person that is not happy, and that's your husband. Okay.
I'm a very happy
My husband's very happy.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll say that while she's around. Okay. But I was actually having a very healthy debate with your husband before you decided to stick your nose in and try to, and try to freaking have your opinion being heard. All right. But if you'd like, I can go back to actually having a conversation with your husband.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure. If you'd let him talk.
If you don't mind, letting him off the leash for a little bit.
If you wouldn't mind letting him talk and stop trying to spin the narrative.
We were actually having a very, very good conversation again before you started talking.
It was a one-sided
You're the
conversation.
problem. I bet he's
It was
just
a
happy.
one-sided
I'm pretty
conversation.
sure he's just happy to get 2 words in without you hollering.
That is not the case at all.
No, I'm sorry. You're right. It's not the case. I get it, man. Blink twice if you need help, okay?
Force me, sweetheart.
Oh no, never, never. That's the love of my life over there.
Let me guess, you guys think the federal government is completely transparent. Meanwhile,
I thought you were letting
CIA.
him talk.
There's the CIA. There's the Secret Service. There's FBI. We were on another live where some girl said it was ridiculous that the government's completely They know just as much as the federal government.
Do we have any therapists in the house? Is this this like that old like commercial, like this is your like brain on drugs or something like that? I'm not really sure what's going on right now.
My brain's never been on drugs. This is high on
Maybe
life
you need some, because whatever's coming out of your mouth is not intelligent conversation. It's just wacky babble. But regardless of any of that, again, I am actually trying to have a conversation about politics. So I'm gonna tell you something that your husband should tell you more often, which is shh. Okay? Thank you. Anyway, sir, what were we talking about?
Had we gone to immigration? I think we were talking immigration.
Oh yeah, we were talking about CNN. Anyways, nobody listens to CNN.
Oh,
that's
CNN,
that's a ridiculous thing to talk about. But no, Biden did do some very, very amazing things in his presidency, like the Chips and Sciences Act, the PACT Act, the largest infrastructure bill in American history. So saying that Biden, didn't do anything is just absolutely wrong. Okay. Now, did he have some, old age for maybe a little decline at the end? Sure. I won't say anything, about that. I'm sure that he did. I mean, that's why we shouldn't be electing people in their 80s to, be running the country. But hell, I can show some cognitive decline from Donald Trump just recently where, he said he had a trade deal with, the UK, with the EU while he was holding a, folder full of blank papers. Okay. And talking to the prime minister of the UK, who's not even in the EU. Right. So if you want to talk about, signs of cognitive decline, I can also show some signs of cognitive decline for Donald Trump. Plus, it doesn't sound like his health's very good. Apparently, he's having some issues with his cankles and his swollen feet and stuff. So, plus, he lies a lot. I don't think his brain's working all the way there. So, yeah, I mean, while there was some, some stuff at the end with Biden where I can definitely see his old age come in, I can also see that same stuff with Donald Trump right now. So if we're gonna, talk about Biden, we should talk about Trump also.
Debate and even string 2 words together. I mean, and look,
Sir, that's bullshit.
I am really tired of people like making. You've not seen? Did you not watch the debate where?
Yes, and then I watched the speech right after that where he talked for 45 minutes straight. So the whole, he can't put 2 words together. Guys, this is a perfect time for your guys' little butt Biden emotes that I just put in today. If you guys are paid subs, let's see that butt Biden emote.
So anyway, what I was saying, and this is, I really hesitate to get on here with you guys because, you start down a train of thought, you want to have a decent conversation, and then you just cut somebody off, and you don't want to have like a valid conversation. What I was about to say,
there's only one person that's cut someone off, and that was your wife.
I was in the middle of a sentence just now, and you cut me off.
Yeah.
The last two sentences that I've been saying, you cut me off.
Okay.
So what I was saying is, I am actually sick of hearing people talk about Biden's making fun of Biden's cognitive decline, because It's not something to make fun of.
You brought it up.
It is a fact that no, and I didn't say you were doing it. I'm just saying, like.
But you said you're
It's
tired
not
of it and
something
you're doing it right now.
I'm not making fun of it, though.
Honestly,
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's not a matter of making fun. I honestly think what's going on in the White House right now should be considered elder abuse. Like, Donald Trump is obviously not in his right mind. He's obviously in a cognitive decline where he, should be in a nursing home someplace. His obvious physical, he's not getting blood flow to his extremities, which, is indicative of heart problems. He's actually having like some severe issues right now. So honestly, I mean, yeah, Biden had some at the end and, he stepped down because of it. I think that the only right thing to do is have Donald Trump step down right now, since he's obviously, not cognitively able to continue.
Biden did not step down. He ran the country until the inauguration. He stepped out of the election.
Yeah, he was still doing amazing things until then, though. So,
if you consider them amazing, I truly don't. I don't believe that it was. I'm not gonna. Your and our ideologies are clearly different. So what you think is amazing is not what I think is amazing. The point I'm going to make is it wasn't Biden.
Yeah, you have zero proof of this whole "it wasn't Biden" thing, and honestly, it's getting really, really sad. Okay, it's getting really, really sad that you guys are still trying to carry on this "it wasn't Biden" thing while your literal president is following the playbook of the Heritage Foundation almost to the T. Okay, we have literal proof that there are people within his administration that are just doing things and going off and pretty much controlling the government without Donald Trump even knowing what's going on. What was it? It was just like a couple weeks ago where freaking something happened. He was like, "Oh yeah, if it happened in my administration, I would know." And then they're like, "All right, did you know about this?" And he's like, "No." He doesn't even know what's going on in his own administration. He doesn't know what's going on with the cuts or what's happening with that. Hell, the people in his administration don't even know what's going on right now. There was just a budgetary committee where they were trying to talk about cutting $17 billion from veterans benefits, and they asked them what people are cutting, and they didn't even know. Okay, he goes up talking about auto pen when Donald Trump uses an auto pen. Like, he doesn't even know where he's at right now, sir.
So Donald Trump does use an auto pen, but he is the one using it. The auto pen thing with Biden is that somebody else. And look, I don't have facts. I wasn't sitting in the Oval Office when it was done, but the narrative that they're talking about with the auto pen is that someone else was using the auto pen with Biden. All presidents throughout history have used the auto pen.
So
well,
since it was again, sir, there is zero proof, and you have no knowledge or understanding of it happening whatsoever where someone else was using the auto pen without Biden's knowledge, but yet you're repeating it on here as if it's true, even though you just said you have no idea whether it's true or not.
And then it's not a false narrative. I was telling you, because you wanted to bring up Trump using an auto pen, and that negates the fact that he's talking about Biden using an auto pen. It wasn't the fact that he didn't come about saying, "Hey, Biden used an auto pen and that's a problem." They were saying the problem is that somebody else I verified and said, I don't know if that's true or not, but saying it's not a narrative of one president using an auto pen and all presidents use an auto pen.
So what you're saying is Donald Trump is saying things with absolutely no proof and no evidence. Okay. But you're telling me how
That's
Biden, well, he is, because you're saying,
I have no proof or evidence.
Well, Donald Trump has no proof or evidence either. No one has any proof of evidence for it happening because it's not happening.
We don't know what Donald Trump knows.
Trust me. Every time Donald Trump has proof of anything, he lets it out. Okay. But your reception is fucking horrible, and honestly, it's like kind of annoying listening to you, even when your reception's good. But with your reception being so bad, it's just.
I agree.
Not even worth it.
It's kind of annoying listening to you too. And unfortunately, I can hear you loud and clear. So.
Unfortunately, sir, you requested to come to my live, not the other way around. Here, I'll do you a favor, and since it's annoying to be talking to me,
have a normal conversation.
Cool. Hey, look, now you're not having a conversation anymore with me. That was hard. Marianne, thank you so much for the money gun. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Man, I think that guy just wanted to talk to somebody that wasn't his wife. Truthfully. She was getting on my nerves, and I wasn't even sitting next to her. Anyways. JJ's Gaming, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. For the first person I've seen to genuinely debate with people about Trump without judgment, W, my dude. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I did judge that last guy, though, but not really as much on his political stances and more just on his marital ones. Mayhem, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Jonathan, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. It says Biden passed more legislation than Trump, but Biden. Hope you guys are liking the new emotes for the paid members and subs in there. I hope you guys are liking that. I really appreciate that.
It's insane.
Thank you, Jonathan. Dave the train guy. I don't know. She was on to something, man. I don't know. Kalila, thank you so much. Says Biden would run laps around Trump's cankles. Just saying. All the circles around the cankles, all the way around them. Hell yeah, for sure. Thank you so much. Can black people be racist? I don't really no, but I'm not really trying to argue that. So it's whatever. And Kalila, thank you again. Said, don't listen to that beta MAGA Karen runs his life 100%. We know 100% who wears the pants in that relationship, which normally, honestly, probably a good thing, right? Like you should probably let women wear the pants. They're smarter than us anyway. Okay. Like truthfully, we should probably just take a step back. Just not that guy. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I really, really appreciate that. And dog lover Ronnie, thank you so much for the paid sub over on TikTok. I really appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Niggers!
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How old are you?
I am 30.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I sure do.
Awesome. Ron, thank you so much for the $5 donation over on Venmo. I really appreciate that. So keep up the good fight. Thank you so much. Awesome. Why do you support Trump?
Well, is Trump or Kamala, and Kamala, she washes her green beans in the tub, and that's just fucking nasty.
Sir, you sound like you need to wash yourself in a tub. All right, we're going to keep moving on. Y'all, like I've said before, if you guys would like support, I do have super chats open on YouTube. Money Gun gift goal over on TikTok. Plus, I'm trying to hit my little sub goal today. We're gonna be below 200. I'm not going to be able to do a giveaway this month. That's going to suck. Hello, how are you?
I'm doing quite well, actually. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. You're not old enough to be here, though. Hello. Hello, how are you?
Hey, man.
Hi, how are you today?
Hey, I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I am 19, ongoing 20.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
No, I do not, but I do want to tell you a little something interesting, because I've seen a lot of lives, of course, of Trump supporters, and I had this interesting one that I came across. Is it okay to talk a little shit on here?
All right, just a little shit talking. I'll give you like 30 seconds to shit talk.
All right, I just want to clarify on trickle-down economics, because I had this guy who was talking about how good it was, but the way he described trickle-down economics was exactly what just capitalism is. So I had to correct him on that. He was saying it came from Reagan and Reaganomics, and I was like, no, sir, no, it does not. It comes from Herbert Hoover and was a failure to the country as a whole, because the idea of trickle-down economics is you cut the money for the wealthy and businesses, and the whole expectation is that's going to go down to the middle and lower class, which it
never
work.
does. Yep.
Trump is trying to do that. He's trying to do that. But the thing is, the issue is we did that during the Great Depression, which arguably made it far worse.
Sure
and
did.
Then we did it again during Reaganomics and supply side economics, which of course you can just go simply look at graphs. It squeezed the middle class.
Almost pretty much destroyed it.
Really rich. It made people really rich, but it made the poor even more poor. Of course, you saw the GDP of the United States climbing, but that's only because the rich got richer. The real statistic that people need to look at is the GDP per capita per 1,000 people. That'll give you a closer estimate to how much the average person actually has, because in the United States, GDP overall, we're number 1. GDP per capita, we're like 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good
We're
points,
not
man.
up there.
Very good
Yep.
points, dude.
So,
All right, man. Hey, I am going to move on to some opposition, but I do really appreciate you coming up, and thank you for those little factoids for the day. I appreciate that. All right.
oh yes, sir. I love just bringing in some cold hard facts, because as the MAGA likes to preach, facts don't care about your feelings.
Amen to that. All right. W's the chat for the guest. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I was going to go, like I had brought up a TikTok guest. I was going to do a call-in guest, then go back to a TikTok guest. We'll see if I can get one in here or not. If not, then we'll check out the TikTok guest and we'll go from there. We'll see. Hello.
Hey,
Hi. How are you today?
good. You?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Awesome. Why is that?
Honestly, genuinely, probably the only reason why I did vote for him is because the Republican Party was about crypto and the Democratic Party hated it. So, and I'm a big believer in crypto, so they helped my pockets, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, guess that's kind of a waste of time then. All right. Well,
I mean, not really. I mean, if it helped benefit me, I mean, he killed it for me.
yeah, cool. All right. Sure.
Don't want to argue that, or
Why would I argue that? It's a waste of an argument.
do you agree though?
Donald Trump's really not even doing that much for crypto. Like really. I mean, there are certain people in his government that are doing specific things that are good for crypto. But I got really bigger things to worry about than your little little crypto bro scheme thing, dude. Like, we have an entire society that's kind of falling apart. We have freaking, people getting shipped off to terrorist prisons and an economy that's falling apart. I really couldn't give a shit about crypto.
Okay, can we talk about the economy then?
Well, we could, but you just said you only voted for him for crypto, so then there's literally nothing.
Yeah,
to talk
but
about.
I mean, to be fair, the economy is killing it too right now.
It's killing it.
Yeah.
How's that?
Inflation is steady. The stock market just hit all-time highs again.
It had hit all-time highs under Biden.
401ks.
Like every single month, we hit all-time highs in the S&P 500 under Biden, and we freaking had about the same inflation rate. So how is it killing it if it's the exact same as it was under Biden's?
Well, if it keeps going up, that's killing it, right? Didn't say Biden did a bad job. I'm just saying Trump's not doing a bad job either if it's going up, correct?
Well, all you're saying is that Donald Trump is doing the exact same job as Biden.
I think he's doing a little better, but...
Well, we had inflation that was lower than 2.7% under Biden at the end of last year.
Yeah, but that's because of interest rate cuts. Like, let's be honest, though. Jerome Powell caused that.
Well, we'd already have 4 different interest rate cuts this year if Donald Trump wasn't implementing tariffs. And we already have shown that the tariffs are going to inflect the inflation rate in a negative way.
Well, they keep saying that, but it hasn't been proven yet.
Because
correct?
it has been proven, but Donald Trump keeps putting on large tariffs and then not implementing them. In order for Donald Trump's tariffs to actually affect inflation, he actually has to keep them on. And
but they are on right now. We have a tariff deal with China, which is the biggest country consumer-wise, correct?
No, we just went up to 145% tariffs and then back down to 30% tariffs where we were at before.
We were not at 30% tariffs.
I think we're at 20 something.
Yeah, and then we raised it to 30, and then they lowered theirs, correct, or no?
They lowered theirs the exact same amount that they raised it, which is exactly the same as what we lowered it.
So
we went up 115%, they went up 115%. Then we went down 115%, and then they went down 115%.
Okay, so what's the difference? I honestly don't know. What's the difference right now compared to what it was?
Slightly higher because Donald Trump has a certain blanket tariff, but that certain blanket tariff is exactly
what's 10% on every country, correct?
Yeah, but that's what's causing that's what's starting to see the inflation rise. That's why we're starting to see the 2.7, and we have projections for it going even higher is because of that 10%. Now, if Donald Trump is going to implement all the tariffs that he says he's going to implement on August 1st, then we're going to see a more significant inflation rate.
Yeah. Now, I got a question for you. If let's say he does that and we already had the China deal, right? It's confirmed. I'm just making sure.
There is no China deal. That was just Donald Trump taking off the tariffs that he put on.
No, I swear to God, I seen it. Well, who knows? It could be fake fucking news. But sorry for the language. But I swear they said there was a deal with them. Like they did confirm, and they came out saying that yes, they did make a deal with the tariffs percentage wise.
Yeah, Donald Trump says a lot of stuff.
No, China came out and said that.
Yeah, the deal was exactly what I just told you. The deal was, hey, we're going to get rid of the tariffs that we put on as retaliatory tariffs. And then that's what they did. And they said this was going to be in furtherance of another deal, which has never happened.
Okay, so the tariffs have raised, correct?
Yep.
And by 10%, correct?
Mhm.
Just the United States. We raised it 10%. Then China's still the same. And that is the biggest problem that we had scared-wise for Jerome Powell not to push the button on cutting interest rates, correct?
Well, see, the thing about cutting interest rates is what you need is stability. The entire point of the Fed is to keep the economy stable. And when Donald Trump says, I'm going to put 145% tariffs on China, okay, and then the Fed meets and they go, hey, can we lower interest rates? Well, no, we don't know what's going on. The tariff that he just said he's going to put 145% tariff on China and he's going to put 40% or whatever. No, it's not, sir. They literally he announced all these tariffs in all these different countries, put a 90-day pause on it. That 90-day pause was up like a week or week and a half ago. And now he's saying he's going to re-implement new tariffs on August 1st.
Yeah.
Including tariffs on Canada, tariffs on Mexico, tariffs on the EU.
Okay. No, yeah. I'm completely agree. I was misinformed or just didn't know enough. That's why I was just asking you, brother.
Yeah. Well, the reason why Jerome Powell lowered the interest rates is because we were finally getting to the point where we were recovering significantly from COVID, and because the entire point of raising the interest rates was to fight against COVID, right? And we were finally getting to the point where we could be relieved from that. And they were expecting 4 different interest rate cuts this year. I think they would have already had 2 or 3 by this year. The only reason they haven't gone into place was because of Donald Trump keeps announcing these tariffs and then pausing them, announcing these tariffs and pausing them, announcing these tariffs and pausing them, right? Because the Fed doesn't know exactly what they're going to do. They know it's going to raise prices. They know it's going to cause inflation. They know that. But to how much, they don't know. And so honestly, I'm surprised they're not actually raising interest rates. I think the only reason they're not raising interest rates is because Donald Trump.
The economy's just killing it. Yeah, well, at the moment, it's kind of killing it, though, stock-wise, correct?
Well, I mean, the stock market doesn't directly affect your.
Yeah,
it's a singular factor.
It does, but it doesn't. That's for sure.
Yeah, you can have a great stock market and still need to raise interest rates.
Trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, trash. Yeah. No, I get that. Now, I got another question. I was watching a video on this, and maybe the guy was completely wrong, but I thought cutting interest rates would help the economy. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, it usually will. It depends on why you're cutting them, though.
Yeah. If you're cutting them for middle class, would it hurt the economy overall, or would it help?
It depends on the state of the economy, right? So if we're in if we're in super high inflation and then you cut interest rates, what that will do is cause the inflation rate to continue to go higher.
Yes.
Right? So what you want is a low you want a if inflation stays the same, then if inflation stays the same, then there's no reason really not to cut them, amongst other factors. But if inflation rate stays the same through all of these tariffs and all that sort of stuff, which won't happen, then there's no reason not to cut them. But we know that they won't. If all the tariffs that Donald Trump wants to put on are put in place, the interest rate, the inflation rate will rise, and therefore you don't want to cut interest rates yet.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Now, if he goes through with all these tariffs, and let's say, how long do you think it would take for us to see, because the big problem is that will companies cut their price or cut their income, correct? Their profit, I should say. If they cut some of their profit out and let the consumers stay at the same price, then it's fine, correct?
Well, I mean, in utopia, but that's not in reality. In reality, these companies don't operate on a margin that's big enough for them to do that.
Well, I mean, some can. Let's be honest here. Like Apple, it does not cost $1,500 to make a fucking
maybe
phone.
Certain companies can, but I'm not worried about Apple. Apple already overcharges their customers. I'm talking about Walmart.
What companies do you think would be affected?
Yeah, I'm talking about Walmart. Yeah. I'm talking about Amazon, that's a good one. Right? Those are the companies that I'm talking about that don't have the margins to, and especially if we're talking about a tariff rate that rises, we're talking about with China with their 145% tariff rate, they definitely can't eat that. But even much lower tariff rates, even a 40-40% tariff rate, there's no way that Walmart can eat that. And especially since they're going
Walmart can eat 30?
No way. No way.
What do you think?
And even if they could, even if they somehow could, which they don't have the profit margins to do that. Even if they could, they're not going to. Why would they?
Well, sorry about that. I mean, maybe they would do it because other companies like Target and other things would do it, but maybe not.
But Target's not going to do it either.
Well, somebody will have to step up to play. There's always going to be a company that undercuts other companies that will do it.
Right. There should be, they might eat a part of it. Right. Yeah. But to eat the whole thing, first of all, like I said, the profit margins aren't big enough for them to eat the entire thing. And second of all, if they're all raising them all at the same level, like, yeah, there might be one company that slightly takes a little bit more of a cut. Maybe Target, lowers it a little bit more, than Walmart does, but it's not going to create this like competitive market where they're all going to go down to no profit. Right. Like,
yeah, for sure.
So they still have to make profit. They're still beholden to their shareholders, And
now,
so
I got a question for you.
What's up?
Have we seen now I really haven't seen it personally, but that doesn't mean anything. Have you really seen inflation or prices go up?
Prices have gone up across the board on things over this year. It hasn't been like
a lot or just a little bit?
Just a little bit. But again, we're only working with like a 10% tariff rate. And on top of the 10% tariff rate that we're working on, we also are dealing with companies that have stockpiles, right? So if you actually look at
be running low by now.
They're starting to run low right now. Yeah, exactly. We're just now starting to see the effects of it. You're 100% correct. Okay. But yeah, what we've been operating on for a while is these, like when Donald Trump first started announcing like, hey, I'm going to do the tariffs, a lot of these companies bought in like bulk, right? They bought in extremes.
Seeing, like the Apple shipping a shit ton of funds over within the night, like 3 cargo planes or whatever it was. Yeah. I remember seeing like the thing about that, which makes sense. But like at a certain point, those are going to run out. And then like if inflation still stays down and we don't see a rise, even with the 30% tariff we got on China, correct right now, if it doesn't go up, then is it working? Like, would that 30% work?
Well, it's not. It's going to go up. It has to go up. There's nowhere else for the money to come from. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Like, there's no, like, even if they took away their entire profit margin, they would still have to eat a part of that. They just don't have the profit margins to be able to do that. So if we're like, it has to inflate, and like we're already seeing it, where we're seeing it right now a lot is in grocery prices. Because
grocery prices have been rising since COVID, dude. So
right, but they had steadied and now they're on the rise again. They rose, they steadied, and now they're on the rise again. The reason for that is like I said, like we talked about, huge stockpiles and stuff coming from other countries. Well, perishable items don't have those stockpiles.
Where are you from? Like, what state do you live in?
I live in Florida. I'm from California.
Okay. Oh, right on. I live in Missouri, so like I just didn't know if like prices kind of varied up there or not.
Right, but when I'm talking about prices, I'm not talking about what I see at the grocery store. I'm talking about the data that we have from across the United States and on average.
That's what I was saying. I don't really see it going up like tremendously crazy, but then again, you don't really pay attention when it's small increments,
Exactly. If your beef went up, 5 cents a pound, you probably didn't realize it.
Yeah, it's like the same as living with someone that loses weight. You don't really notice it compared to like, oh, you didn't see him 3 months, and you're like, holy crap, dude, you're doing great.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I completely understand that. Mm-hmm. What else could I want to ask you? Sorry, I'm kind of zoning out here. What other problems is with Trump that you really don't like? I know I don't even want to start with the immigration stuff. I understand where you're coming from, and that's your perspective. And
well, I think that I honestly
people agree with it. Some people disagree with it.
I honestly think where we're sitting at right now with the conversation is a perfect reason why I disagree with Trump. Right, like it is a complete lack of understanding of how of the United States being a consumer nation, understanding that we live in a global economy. It is a completely outdated and antiquated economic thought process. Right. And really, when we talk about things with Donald Trump, I like to stay in these economic conversations. I think it's really, really great because that's one thing when we talk about prices and other things like that. That's the one thing that affects everybody in the United States. Right. Donald Trump can make these little executive orders to, ban trans people from sports or to ban, paper straws or whatever. But the economic factors are what is going to affect people the most. Yeah. And I truly, truly do think that Donald Trump's, idea of trickle down economics with his horrific tax cuts for the super rich at the expense of, healthcare for poor and disabled people is going to negatively affect our economy, and it's going to hurt every single person's pocket in the United States. And I think that people need to realize that, because that's why people
Now, I
vote
got
with
a
their
question
wallet.
for
I mean, you even
'cause
said
I
you voted
just
with your
remembered
wallet.
it.
What's up?
Well, yeah, obviously I was
Michelle,
huge
thank you so much for the
pro-crypto.
money gun. I appreciate that.
Right. I was huge pro crypto, and the Republican Party loves crypto, and I have I have a ton of my money invested in crypto, so that helped me tremendously. Like right now, I'm living on cloud nine because it's going crazy. But and the Democratic Party just despised it. They say it's just we don't have to go down the road. But my question was, with the tax bill that was in effect when it was supposed to go out, when was that tax bill supposed to go out from Trump's 2016 or 2017 bill he passed?
It went out in 2017. Yeah.
It went out, or
Well,
I thought it was still in effect.
it started to be in effect one January 2018. Sounds right.
Yeah. It was like it was the whole Republican Party was talking about it, and Democratic Party, and I know they were both agreeing on it, but they like had to try figuring out some way for the taxes coming up because it was going to expire, and then that's why they were trying to push that whole ugly bill or beautiful bill, whatever you want to call it.
Was there a question in there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm just asking, was it true or not true that there was a tax bill that was in effect that was going to go out of effect by like the end of this certain time just recently? That's why they had to push.
Yeah, our tax bills happen every 8 years.
Yeah, okay. Every 8 years, you said?
Yeah, so the last one was under Trump's first administration. The new one's under that was gonna start January 1st of next year, right? It's not a problem of whether we had to pass a tax bill, right?
Well, if we didn't pass it, our prices would have went up, correct? Or
sir, you had to pass a tax bill.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you had to pass this tax bill.
Yeah, no, like
the problem is not that they passed a tax bill. I'm very happy that they passed a tax bill. I'm not happy that they passed this tax bill.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of even Republicans came out saying that it's going to cause millions or trillions of dollars debt, $4
trillion.
Yeah, $4 trillion, right? And they're saying that somehow the tariffs are going to help with this to kind of counter it, or what are they trying to say for that?
Pretty much what he's saying is that we're going to give a huge tax cuts to the rich, and we're going to use the poor to pay for it.
Got you, by them paying tariffs.
Correct.
The middle class. Yeah, okay.
Yep, middle class buys more stuff, so therefore they pay the tariff costs, which means that that's how the government gets money to pay for the rich people's tax cuts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's literally wealth redistribution mixed with trickle-down economics. For that to happen,
though, we have to see inflation rise, correct?
We're going to, absolutely.
The consumers.
You're going to. Again, there's no possibility that we don't. How much inflation? You can argue how much inflation, but we will see inflation. If the numbers that Donald Trump is trying to put out come to fruition, we will see inflation. That's not a question. It's just how much.
I just didn't like how they were going to say, oh, we're going to, like, CNN and stuff were saying that, oh, we're going to see it soon, like, instantly, and that's not the case. And now it's just like you're giving people
another reason not to listen to CNN.
Well, yeah, I tried to stay away from all big social media. Like, I'd rather talk to you because, like, this is way more of an honest conversation than any of that would ever be.
Well, I'm a lot more entertaining than CNN.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, man, speaking of being entertainment, I have been talking to you for a while, so I'm going to move on so I can get the next guest up.
You're good,
but I do appreciate you coming up, right, man?
Yeah, be safe, man, and enjoy your life, brother.
All right, thank you, man.
Keep doing you.
Bye. All right. Fear, thank you so much for the $9.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says, Trump has successfully divided the United States into two. Hatred for both sides is rampant, and he has done nothing to try to fix it. In fact, he actively makes us more divided. I feel like I need to cut this out, paste it, and then just make this my intro to my live. Like every time I do a live, this needs to be the first thing that flashes, is just exactly what it says right here. 100%. Thank you so much, Fear, for that $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. We're going to keep this thing going. I really appreciate you guys. If you guys would like to support, like I said, I do have super chats open on YouTube that's helped to support. I really appreciate the money guns, the 3 of them that I've gotten on TikTok. Also, if you guys would like to help me become a paid sub on TikTok or a paid member on YouTube, that is a great monthly way to support the live. And it does help me to keep really doing this every day. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Olive, thank you so much for the money gun. I really appreciate that. All right. Well, I said I was going to switch back and forth. So let's see if I can bring up a TikTok guest on this one. Let's see if I can bring up someone from over here. Hello. How are you? Hello? You should enter live with Dean and Parker. I might, while I'm off for 2 weeks, I might see if Dean wants to hang out for a bit on a live. Hello, how are you? Nope. All right, I'm trying over here, y'all. I'm trying to keep it even. Hello, how are you? Hello? All right. Well, hey, guys, I'm trying over here. Goodness gracious. We'll see if we can get somebody in there. Of course, you're friends with Dean. I'm actually not friends with Dean, but he sent me a raid before, and he's come on my live before. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself friends. I never talked to him offline or anything. But we all kind of live in this space, so we all kind of hang out here. All right. Well, that looks like we're not going to get anyone over here on TikTok. I'm just saying, I don't want to be out here claiming that like I'm a friend of somebody that like don't even know me. Like that seems messed up. Seems messed up to be like, yo, like, hey, we're friends. Like, I don't know. I never really talked to the guy. All right, y'all. If you guys supported Trump, go ahead and hit call in. I think this is Dave. It is about an hour and a half. Dave, is this you?
It's insane.
Hi, Dave.
Hello. You want to? So there was a few callers back where y'all were talking about the Great Depression for a little bit. That reminded me of a funny train story from the Great Depression.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take my headphones off for a second, but tell everyone else the train fact for a second. All right.
All right.
Go for it.
All right. So a bit of background: the Rio Grande Southern Railroad ran for 162 miles between Ridgeway, Colorado, and Durango, Colorado, and was only profitable until about 1901. It was completed in 1899. So panic in 1901 happened. Profitability went down the window until the railroad finally abandoned in 1952. During the Great Depression, the railroad couldn't afford to pay crews for passenger trains, which mostly just carried mail and maybe one or two passengers. So the Rio Grande Southern made what's called the Galloping Goose, where the very first one was a Buick Six-Master four-door sedan, where they cut the back end off and put it on train wheels. It had 2 seats for passengers and a pickup bed for the mail. It was decided that they would build more of these, since the cost of Goose 1 was only $800 as opposed to a couple $1,000 for a steam locomotive. Later in 1931, Goose 2 is completed, again from a Master 6 Buick sedan. This time it kept its body and had a boxcar attached to the end of it so that it could carry both mail or freight or whatever it needed to pull. In December 1931, Goose 3 was made out of a Pierce Arrow limousine with a 33 horsepower engine, and it rode on 3 trucks. You had the limousine part, then a truck, and then the boxcar. So it had 2 sections to it. It was deemed so successful that Goose 4 and 5 were identical copies of 3. In 1932, Goose 4 was built, and in 1933, Goose 5 was built. The 1933 Goose 1 was scrapped after it was decided that Goose 2 through 5 were efficient enough. When Goose 6 was built in 1934 as a work goose. It used a Buick body instead of a boxcar attached to it this time. They put a flat car on it to maintain the line during the Depression. The Goose 6 is interesting as it is still around, still with its flatbed, and was used to scrap a lot of narrow gauge lines around Colorado during the 50s.
All right.
And the last goose was made in 1937. It used another Pierce Arrow body, this time with a Ford V8. And all the geese except for Goose 1 are still around, and they all run. I'll see if I can't find a
Impressive.
photo of the geese for you, because they're very interesting little movers.
All right, Dave. Well, you know where to put it. I'll bring it up later. Thanks for the trade fact today, Dave. I appreciate you, man.
You're welcome. Yeah, have
All
a good stream.
Have a good one. That was I think he kind of lost all of us on that one for a bit, but that's okay. That's okay. We got to have Dave's trade fact in there. It's really helpful. I'm not taking you. All right. Well, we'll see. I had a couple more people request over here on TikTok. I've been trying to get someone from TikTok in, but they've been being hard to find. So we'll see if there's anybody in here. Hello. Hello? No? Hello?
Hi.
Hi. How old are you? Are you a Trump supporter?
No, and I'm 57, but I did have okay, hold on. Let me collect my thoughts. I want to speak on the immigration and what people don't realize. I
Tish,
married an
hold on. You can come back up a little later. Like I really need to get a guest in here that's opposition right now. I cannot take a friendly right now, but I do really appreciate you. If you want to come back up a little later, I'll let you say a minute or so on it. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate it. Y'all, please only request right now if you're a Trump supporter. I just had the friendly up. All right, I can't just be having friendly after friendly after friendly. I appreciate you. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
40. God,
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Not at all.
All right. Sorry. I'm only looking for Trump supporters right now. I do appreciate you. All right, guys. Look, I'm only looking for people that are supporting Trump. So if you support Trump, please call the number above my head or request in the TikTok guest request box. If you don't, please don't. I will just hang up on you right now. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I can't complain. What's going on? What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? You called in here.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, is there a topic that we're like landing on, or what? Like, you know what I mean?
No, because that would be on you because you called in here.
Okay. Well, you say you're not a Trump supporter, right? So I'm just saying, like, is there like what's the hill that you're standing on? Like, what's the number one reason why?
Morality, mostly.
Say that again.
Morality, mostly.
What makes you think he's an immoral person?
What makes me think Donald Trump is an immoral person?
Yeah.
I don't know. The fact that he freaking sexualizes 10-year-olds, talks about having sex in common with his daughter, try to defraud a children's cancer charity, literally an adjudicated freaking rapist. I don't like, what are you talking about?
How is he a rapist? Because of the P-word thing? Like,
Seriously, like all of those things, and you try to pick out one immoral thing out of the 5 I just said? What makes you think he's moral?
Well, because his children seem to be very, well behaved and like productive members of society. Like Barron is.
Don Jr. does crack.
Don Jr. does crack. I don't think nobody does crack anymore. I don't
Don
know.
Jr. does. Don Jr. 100% does crack.
I think you're mistaking him with like Hunter Biden.
Nope, I'm not. Don Jr. does crack. I will stand on that hill forever. And Trump doesn't even like Eric. And he wants to have sex with Ivanka. So I don't know like what you're talking about.
Okay, so you don't think that these are like, well, I don't know these people like personally, so everybody has their vices. I would hope that he doesn't use crack, because that's kind of like that would be beneath any person. Like to use crack would be a terrible thing for them to do. But you don't see any type of like silver lining in like how he's like proceeding the daily runnings of the country.
No.
At all. So you don't agree with closing the border?
The border wasn't open, so it can't be closed.
How, what? The border wasn't open? Okay? So
Yes,
that's
that's exactly what I'm
ridiculous.
saying because all the data
That's
shows.
ridiculous.
Because literally
I'm in
every
California.
single piece
I
of
live in
data,
California.
sir, I'm talking.
I live in
I
California. I
don't
know
care
for a
if you live with one butt cheek in Mexico and the other butt cheek in America with the fence going in between it.
Insane.
Okay? The border wasn't open.
okay. So you're just not open to anything. You're
I
just
don't
not
need to be
open
not
to.
open, sir. Literal Donald Trump's own government showed that the border wasn't open. Their literal own data from the
What
Trump
are you talking
administration
about?
says the border
What
wasn't
are you
open.
talking
How
about?
many people were
They,
deported? How many people were deported, like mostly at the border, under the Biden administration last year?
how can you be deported at the border? You would be denied entry. You wouldn't be
Yes,
deported at the
sir.
border.
When
You
you're
would be
denied
denied
It's
entry,
insane.
that's called a
That's not.
deportation. If you cross
No,
the
it's
border,
not.
sir,
You
I'm not
have to
asking
be
your
in the
opinion.
country to be deported. Yes,
Yes,
you are actually.
sir. If you
You have to
walk,
be in the country illegally to be deported.
yes,
If you're trying to come into the
sir, be
country,
quiet.
it's denied
Be
entry. It's
quiet.
not being deported.
Be quiet. Okay. If you cross the border illegally and you're stopped at the border, you're deported.
How can you cross the border illegally and be stopped at the same time?
Yeah, it's pretty simple. So if you're coming here to seek asylum or you think that
No,
you
it's
have a
not. Those are two different things.
I'm
Being
actually
stopped at the
not going to
border
two
and
different.
crossing
Sir,
the
if you're just
border
going to talk
are
every
two
time I say
different things.
3 words because you think you know what I'm about to say, then I will end this
I'll let you
conversation.
talk.
No, you don't let
You
me
very
talk at all. I allow you to talk on my live, not the other way around. So
you
I am
very
trying.
rudely
All
told
right.
me you
5,
very rudely told me to shut
4,
up,
3, 2, 1.
bitch.
All right. Good guy. Good little guy. All right. I'm going to
Yeah,
say
but
what I'm
you
going to say. And if you cut me off again, I'm hanging up the phone.
go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So when you cross the border, it could be for asylum. It could be because you think that you have a valid claim to a citizenship here, whether you're here on a work visa, whether all of those things happen once you cross the border into a port of entry. Okay. And we're also talking about people that go around ports of entry, right? People that try to sneak into the border, try to run through the desert or run through the Rio Grande, all that sort of stuff. See, we have border patrol agents that are patrolling all of that. Okay. And when they stop people and they aren't allowed entry, they are deported. Okay. But see, they're already in the United States. We're not talking about people who are coming up to the border and not being let in. We're talking about people that are that come in when they're not supposed to and are then deported. And Biden deported 685,000 people last year. Okay. So it is impossible for a border to be open if they deported 685,000 people.
Okay, so if there were 685,000 people that were deported, how many were actually let in? Did you not see these videos of these Chinese nationalists that were just coming in? Did you not did you just forget about the Canadian border? Like, are you forgetting about all these different countries that these illegals have allegiance to that entered the country during the Biden administration?
Here's the
And
easy answer
why
to that. How many people were let
Trump
in?
has to
A whole bunch of
okay, so
people were let in, but they were legal
more
people. But the
multiple millions, multiple millions.
undocumented immigrants, none of them were let in. Now, were there people that got in even though they weren't let in? Yes, that happened under the Biden administration and it happened under the Trump administration.
Well, what would you say? Would you agree with the way that Biden handled it or the way that Trump handled it?
I
Which
don't
one
agree with
would you
either
be
of them.
more? So you don't agree with any of these ICE deportations?
Any of them? Sure. There's some of them that are good.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. The silver lining. There are plenty
That's
of
not,
there
that's not
are
silver
plenty of
lining.
It is, because if you are agreeing with me saying that there are certain people that ICE has deported that should have been deported, being, whatever, I don't want to say, I don't know how your channel is monetized or anything. I don't want to say their crimes that they committed or the crimes that they are committing, but there are plenty of children that are suffering over these border crisis issues.
Sir,
So if you're saying that there are certain people that shouldn't be here that are being deported, that would be a silver lining.
that's not a
Because if
silver
it wasn't
lining,
for
sir.
Trump, how is that not a? It's
Sir,
not a
less
good
than
thing that
15% of
how.
people, sir, I will explain it to you. Less than 15% of the people that Donald Trump is
I
deporting.
don't think you can.
Well, you wouldn't know because you don't let me speak. But less than 15% of
You
people
don't
that.
listen.
Okay,
You
well,
don't listen.
everybody. You're not gonna be listening at all because I'm about to hang up on you.
Well, that's totally in control, isn't it?
Yeah, it
You can
is,
hang
and
up
it's
on you
about to
all you
happen.
want.
So, less than
Well, guess
15% of the people that Donald Trump is deporting have any other criminal record outside of illegal entry. Okay. So, yes, the
where you get the
15%
numbers
of people.
from?
All right. Well, I tried to warn you. So, those 15% of people that are being deported, yes, I completely agree with that. I think that those people should be deported. And I think that we should actually completely direct ICE to make sure that those people are deported. All right. But just because there are certain people that are being caught up that are wrong, we should be concentrating our immigration policy towards those people, not towards everyone else. Would you like to respond to that? Oh, wait, you're not here. That's right. My bad. Oh, shoot. I forgot that you weren't here because I hung up on you because you wouldn't shut the fuck up. Anyways, I really did try. I tried 3 times. We're gonna go through and see a few super chats real quick before we move on. I really appreciate that. Black Queen, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said I appreciate your honest and factual approach to issues, even when they make us uncomfortable. Continue to be a mirror to the world. Black Queen, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That is so sweet. Thank you so much. The jocular jurist says off topic history pop quiz. Who is the only presidential candidate in the United States history to be something prior to coming into office? Unalivenated? Unalivenated? I mean unalived, guys. I'm gonna go with you mean unalived. And I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer. Chat, who is it? I like unalivenated. I'm gonna use that from now on. I actually really like that. Someone give me the answer to that. I want to know the answer to that one. Who is it? Kalila, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says dress up and smile when the cameras are on you. Well behaved. Grab by the Ivanka Donnie Jr. For sure. The Don Jr. does crack. Lee says, dude, you'll never have friends. Okay, bud. I'll never have friends, but you just spent $2 to tell me that? That's weird. That's very weird. And Andrew, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really appreciate it. Said this man said everybody has their vices. Meanwhile, the right can't even get off of Hunter. Yeah, I think that's actually their vice is Hunter Biden's laptop. I think that's like their crack. Like, that's very weird. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I really appreciate that. Did I get an answer to the pop quiz yet? Who was it? Someone said Harrison. Is that right? I'm not sure if that's right or not. Is it Harrison? Okay, it's Harrison.
It's insane.
It says it is Joseph Smith. So it is Joseph Smith. Only presidential candidate in the like prior to coming to office. I'm not really sure. Someone figure that one out. I don't know what we're talking about here. Joseph, the Mormon guy? That's what I was thinking. The Mormon guy. We're talking about the Mormon guy? Hello, how are you?
Nigger.
Harrison was in office for... so it's not Harrison because he was in office for 30 days. Like the... Is that what we're talking about, though? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
18.
Awesome. Where you were reborn?
07.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
I do.
Why is that?
Before I answer that, let me just say, like, I'm not really like he was like into politics. Like, I don't know enough. Like, I've just like read stuff. And, like, my dad's big into Trump, so I've heard from him. But it's because I think he's doing the right thing. Like, first off, like, for instance, when he came into office and he had control over the border,
It's
I don't
insane.
think he necessarily wants to kick people out of our country. He just wants to set boundaries. He wants people to be safe. He wants people to come in and get their ID and get their whatever, get to be a legal American citizen. I think a big misconception with him is that he's racist, and I don't think that at all, personally.
Yeah. So if Donald Trump wanted people to do things legally, he wouldn't be freaking sending ICE to go take them out of their immigration hearings.
Damn, I caught me with that one.
Smith was the first Latter-day Saint to seek the presidency and the first American presidential candidate to be assassinated. In 1844, Smith was the mayor of Nauvoo, Illinois, which was then the second most populous city in Illinois with 12,000 residents. Now you know. Now you know. Yeah, Donald Trump doesn't care about people being here legally. Donald Trump wants to deport as many brown people as he possibly can. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. And that's the only reason to even hire somebody like Stephen Miller, because Stephen Miller is a very, very well-known racist.
I didn't even realize all of that, brother. I can't even lie to you.
Yeah. So,
like I said, I don't know enough about politics to like get deep into it. I just know like the bare minimum.
Okay. Well, and since you were born in 2007, so obviously you didn't vote. Okay.
Right.
I advise you learn a lot more about politics before the midterms next year and educate yourself and vote. Right. And I advise, so are you watching me on YouTube or TikTok?
YouTube.
Awesome. Hit that subscribe button, just like everybody else should be hitting that subscribe button if you're new here. Hit your subscribe button, pay attention, listen, you learn something, okay? And then you'll be an educated voter next year.
All right.
Sound good, man?
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, you have a good one, all right?
All right, you as well.
All right, bye. Yes, it was the LDS prophet. See, it was that guy. All right, we're going to open up these phone lines, keep this thing going. Actually, I think I saw a couple guests pop in from TikTok. So we'll see if they're Trump supporters or not. Chair, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It says, have any Trump supporters actually had any valid points today? Or are their brains as empty as their hearts? Ooh, brains as empty as their hearts. Ugh. That feels like that should be on a t-shirt. I feel like that should be on a t-shirt. Oh. Very, very sad, but very true. Thank you so much, Chair. I really appreciate that. And Spence, that's poetic as fuck, right? Like that needs to be in the new Kendrick song or something, man. Sorry. Take my breath away. We got some poets in here, y'all. Got some poets. Thank you so much, Kalila. And Spencer, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, oh, geez, just started watching today and saw Hunter Biden's laptop speaking. Be careful. It'll start spewing lies here soon. Dude, that Hunter Biden laptop is coming out of nowhere. You got to watch for it, man. You got to watch for it. Andrew, thank you so much for the super chat. Jonathan, thank you so much for the super chat. Spencer, I really appreciate that. I'm going to put this one back up here. I'm going to leave this up for a second. I really appreciate the super chats. Thank you guys so much. Hello, guest. How are you? Hello? Guest? All right. And they're gone. All right. Well, let's see if we can get another Trump supporter in here. We've only been on for an hour and a half. I still got plenty of time. We'll see if there's any more Trump supporters out there that would like to converse. Hello, how are you?
Nigger, 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 nigger.
Hello, how are you?
I got big dick, nigga.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Here, let me pause you real quick. Can you hear me?
Take my breath away.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. How old are you?
I'm 29.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, more than you, apparently.
More than me, it is not hard to support Trump more than me. That's very, very low bar.
Yeah. So what is your opposition with Trump is mainly what I'm curious about.
My opposition to Donald Trump is he doesn't really do anything well.
He doesn't do anything well. You don't think he's bringing money to the economy and establishing America as a world superpower again?
Yeah, you can't establish America as the world superpower when we were already the world superpower. I know he's not bringing any money into our economy. He's just taxing us more.
That's not exactly true. Our status as a world superpower has been slipping ever since Chairman Xi Jinping took place.
Yeah, and how has Donald Trump helped that to make a larger gap between us and China?
Man, in a lot of ways.
How?
You haven't been paying attention much to how he's.
I pay incredible attention. Just answer the question.
I'm trying to. Please don't interrupt me.
No, but then see, I don't need your little. You haven't been paying attention. I don't need all of that. Just tell me how.
I'm trying to. So he's been dumping a lot of money into R&D in our military, right? You have Twitter and you have Google, who both just won major $2 million contracts with the DoD in AI. As well as that, he's outdating a lot of our existing vehicles, ground support, air support, water, and he's upgrading that. Do I even need to mention Space Force?
Yeah,
all that has been established.
The Biden administration also had record DoD spending. So what?
As soon as he's established all this stuff and he's upgraded our military, then he's going to proceed to sell off our military. And what's going to happen?
Hold on, stand by. Donald Trump is just increasing at the same rate that Biden was increasing our military. Spending more. Yes, it is. There was record spending under the Biden administration and the DoD.
Insane.
Okay.
What
record
does
spending.
have to do with Donald Trump?
Yeah, because you're saying that he's setting us apart from China. Spending more money on the military is not separating us from China because we were already by far the largest military on the planet. When we talk about being a world superpower, when we talk,
China just released a lot of helicopters. So the U.S.
not helicopters, sir. When we talk about being a world power, we don't just talk about military spending. The United States spends more on their military than the top. AI. Sir, we spend more on our military than the next 8 countries combined, 7 of which are allies.
Insane.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have a huge military, and we've always had Sir, be quiet for a second. Sir, be quiet.
When China's
Sir, be quiet.
Hey, come on, man.
No,
so
because I want to be clear on what I'm talking about, and you telling me about how we're buying new helicopters does not separate us from China. Okay.
Well, I'm trying to explain it to you, but you're not letting me talk.
Sir, I don't care about whether we buy new helicopters or not. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay. When I talk about the United States being a world superpower, I'm talking about economically. Okay. There was never a competition between us and China. China has been catching us militarily for a long, long time. Okay. And they are our near peer ally, and they are still our nearest peer ally. And Donald Trump has done nothing to change that, except for, unless you're talking about right now.
You think that China's closer to the U.S. or Russia?
China. It's not even a close call.
China is closer to U.S. or is it closer to Russia?
Is China closer to the U.S. or is China closer to Russia?
Yeah.
China's closer to the U.S.
No. They're way China, are you kidding me? Putin and Xi Jinping are like best friends, man.
Oh, you mean closer as in, are they allies?
Yes.
That's not how I took that. I thought you meant closer as far as military might.
Yeah. So what I was trying to.
Of course, they're closer to Russia. Yeah, the BRICS nations are being actually very propped up right now thanks to Donald Trump's economics. But whatever.
So, anyways, China's just come out with a lot of the one thing, for example, that set the United States apart very well was its tilt rotors helicopters. There's nothing like it that exists right now, right? And then China just came out with it. So now Donald Trump has been putting all this money into developing the tilt rotors. And I'm not, whatever Biden did, Like, the reason why I said I support Trump more than you do is, honestly, I'm not a supporter. You know, I don't play those games. You know, but you know, to deny, just straight up and rudely, might I say, deny Trump's achievements is just ignorant.
Sir, that's not an achievement. Okay.
What's not an
Every single president that has come into office since Obama, well, since like Obama had cuts in his first like term or whatever, but since then we have had record military spending every single year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Hold
China's
on. Hold on.
catching
I'm
up.
not
That's what I'm saying. But
finished.
China and Russia are still catching
I'm
up.
not finished.
Okay.
So if we have record military spending every single year, it is not an achievement to just have more record spending on military every single year. That's not an achievement. That's just Donald Trump
No.
doing exactly what every single other president has done. That's not an achievement. And if you want me to be completely honest with you,
That's not what
I
I
don't
was
even
saying.
necessarily
You brought
think
up
it's
the
a
money.
good thing,
I
okay?
didn't bring up the money. You brought up the money. I didn't bring up the money. I was bringing up how he was investing into our military with AI. I mean, AI is a relatively inexpensive program. You know, 200 million, that's just a drop in the pail, you know, but he's doing it. And he's setting our country apart. Russia is way ahead of the United States in AI. I don't know about China, but Russia's way ahead of the United States with AI. Just go on Instagram for 10 minutes and you'll see, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this article up on the screen from Biden's administration, where it literally, he signs an executive order to increase artificial intelligence within the US DOD.
Okay. So what?
So Biden did that, not Trump.
So did Trump. So the thing is like, so you agree with what Biden did, but you don't agree with what Trump did?
No, I'm just saying that it's not an achievement. Sir, what I'm saying is it's not an achievement. You are making it sound like Trump is doing this monumental thing that is so different from everybody else, when he is literally just keeping the status quo. Anybody who went into office would have done this exact same thing. Biden could have gotten reelected and this would have happened. Kamala Harris could have gotten elected and this would have happened. Trump got elected and this happened. None of that changes, okay? Donald Trump didn't do something special here. That's all I'm saying.
Fair point. Honestly, the point you're making is a fair point. But what you're not keeping in mind is that to maintain number one status, you know, like you already said, America's been the greatest superpower for a long time. You know, that takes a lot of work. You don't just like sit back in your chair and maintain it. You have to steadily keep ahead. And Donald Trump has been making those achievements. Like, you know, and you went back to Joe Biden, you know, and I'm not one to, you know, criticize, you know, because I wasn't in his place. But let's keep in mind that he did, you know, give a lot of weapons to ISIS. That was a huge
To
mistake,
who?
and that was a lot of money down the drain.
To who?
You know, ISIS.
He gave a lot of money to ISIS?
In the resources, let me say.
No, he didn't.
He didn't leave a bunch of helicopters and Jeeps and Humvees. And
He left a
weapons
bunch
over-
of stuff for the Afghan army.
Who is ISIS, right?
The Afghan army is not ISIS. No, the Afghan army would be the official military of the Afghan government, and ISIS would be a terrorist group.
Okay, so who's in charge of Afghanistan right now?
Currently, well, technically it's the Afghan government, but they don't really have too much control over the country at all right now.
So you would say that it's ISIS?
Yes, sir. I don't believe that the pullout from Afghanistan was done very well at all. I believe the negotiations were very, very horrible. Okay. And that's
what I'm trying to say, and what I'm trying to point out to you is that those resources right there, that's what Trump is trying to get rid of himself by upgrading our R&D. So he's trying to upgrade us. He's going to set us apart, and then he can proceed to make contracts with, you know, upcoming countries, you know, and there's the world's changing fast. A lot of developing countries are seeking.
Dude, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, seriously, like, you just keep yapping about some shit. I have no idea what the point of that you're even talking about right now. I have no idea where this conversation even is. Every time I say 3 words that has any response to what you're saying, you just start yapping about something else. What are we even talking about, dude? Like seriously, like
We're talking about
all you're
Donald
saying
Trump.
over and over is that Donald Trump is making us this world power by just spending more money on the military. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Okay, there was record spending under the military. There was record spending in the DoD. There was tons of freaking old equipment that was being replaced specifically by freaking getting rid of old freaking military equipment that we sent to Ukraine and then sparking the military industrial complex to replace a lot of that old equipment under the Biden administration. There was tons of new research done. There was AI development under the Biden administration. What is Donald Trump doing that's special, dude? Why do you actually support him? Because right now it sounds like you're just supporting the military industrial complex.
Oh, I mean, like, yeah, I do support that. I mean, of course. And that's what I'm talking about, is that Donald Trump has been bringing a lot of spending into our military developing, especially, you know, when it comes to our borders as well. I mean, like, not even be ignorant. You know, let's talk about how, you know, Donald Trump has been signing contracts with Mexico and has been hiring their army as well. So that way they can work together. And he's spending resources on letting our military train Mexican militaries. He's uncovering corrupt police.
Those were things that were already happening under the Biden administration.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was actually the freaking
No,
the Mexican government paid like an astonishing amount of money towards immigration control and border protection under the Biden administration.
Okay. Donald Trump was the one who allowed the cartel to be classified as terrorists. That was a key strategy in actually allowing our militaries to work together. Right?
Yeah, that's cool. They were still we have been literally training the Mexican military on freaking things with the cartel since the 90s.
Of course. Yeah. And it's developing. It's been developing. You think the 90s is like an old time? No, that's like the last 30 years, dude. That's like nothing.
Sir, I'm not saying that it's not a long time. I'm saying that you're making this a Trump thing when it's not.
And what I'm saying is that you're trying to discredit Trump on stuff that have been happening during his time. So let's back.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess I should also give credit to Donald Trump for the fact that we still have air traffic controllers, or that the FBI hasn't been dismantled, or that, you know, we still have a government. I guess we'll just give Donald Trump credit for everything that was already happening before him that is continuing to happen. Sure, dude. If that's what makes you feel better and you think it's a discredit for me to not give him every single bit of credit for him just maintaining what was already happening, then I'm sorry, okay? But right now we're here to talk about the things that Donald Trump is actually doing that's actually affecting things, okay? That are actually freaking specific to Donald Trump, not just doing the exact same thing that Biden did. Because if Donald Trump is just doing the exact same thing as what Biden is doing, then we could have had Biden, and then we would have actually had good things to go along with it. If we wanted to waste a whole bunch of money on record spending for the military industrial complex and freaking increase our military spending even more, well, Biden was just fine at that. Like,
it's not a matter. It's not a matter of spending and letting money go, right? Anybody can spend and let money go. The key strategy is actually utilizing that money and to position us. So what Donald Trump has effectively done by dumping so much money into the military, he didn't just dump money into the military, is he also marketed America at the same time, right? And so, you know, one of the key things that I know about personally is, like I said earlier, is how China's been developing a tilt rotor program, right? And the United States has been, you know, developing that in the background for some time as well, you know. And now that Donald Trump is in office, you know, he's accelerating all those production timelines, and he's pushing this stuff forward, so that way we can come out with a, you know, bigger, better army, you know, and pretty much show, like, remind America, the world, that America has some of the best, you know, some of the best reputation, credibility in military, you know, in military development. And so, you know, you have a lot of these countries who are taking our designs, and, you know, and they're starting to catch up, right? Russia and China being pretty much them. And, you know, Donald Trump has put a lot of money, not just into our R&D, but he's putting actual money into creating, this like actual stuff, and then offloading old resources as well, and not just dumping it into terrorist organizations. And he's using this at the same time to position America as something to be feared by the cartel, and he's using it at the same time to remind the cartels that we're a force to be reckoned with. Biden wasn't doing the same things he was doing with the cartels. Biden wasn't marketing America's military. He was just dumping stuff into terrorists. So like I said,
Biden was not dumping anything into terrorist groups. Okay, we've already discussed that. Second of all, dude, if you really like helicopters, then just say it's really like you really like helicopters, okay? I have a guy named Dave the Train Guy. He comes up every day and he tells me train facts, okay? If you're just like really into helicopters, then that's great, man. I'm really glad to hear it. And you could have just told me, dude, I really want to talk about freaking helicopters. And we can just do that, okay? But literally the fact that you've talked about helicopters like 7 times during this conversation is ridiculous.
About how trains are causing damage to the world, how trains are immorally built, and how the development of trains are causing people's lives to suffer. No, you don't. You just have a YouTube channel dedicated to talking about Donald Trump. And so I'm here just to play devil's advocate. I mean, honestly, it was how rude you talk to people.
I could tell that you're just playing devil's advocate because you're not doing a good job. Okay. See, the difference between somebody who's actually trying to come up here and actually trying to have a true like good faith debate and somebody who's playing devil's advocate is like so obvious.
It's insane.
Okay. Dude, the things that you're saying, like, while some of them matter, right? Like, it is important to have a very strong military. It is. Okay. It is important to have a strong military. It is important to fight against the cartel. It is important to do all of these things. Okay. These are not Trump policies. Okay. These are just the things our government does all the time. Okay. We are constantly developing. Sir, stop.
Wait,
we are no, you're not asking me anything because I'm speaking. Okay. What? We are constantly developing new military technology all the time. New planes, new different helicopters, new all sorts of stuff. The military industrial complex is literally just a huge cycle of new military development and finding out what the military can build. And the U.S. government, so much of your tax dollars goes into the military industrial complex. It is ridiculous.
And Trump is doing that better than Biden, right?
He's not doing it better than Biden. He's not doing it worse than Biden. He's just doing it the same way that Congress builds out money to go to the military industrial complex every single year, mostly because none of our congressmen get elected without being part of the, in the pockets of military industrial complex. That's pretty much all it is because of the freaking, the huge money that's in our politics and how much money is put into lobbying from the military industrial complex. Okay. So
does the military primarily support Trump?
The military is apolitical. It doesn't primarily support anyone.
No, but I'm asking like those who are
I heard your question. And I'm answering your question. The military does not support anyone. They are apolitical.
Okay, I misspoke. Okay, you got me there. But those who are in a position that have, right? Who do they tend to side with?
Sir, there's no unless you have data to show what you're talking about. This is really a dumb point.
I mean, I don't need data to know that, veterans and people who are involved in a military life tend to lead.
Yeah, I could bring up 50 fucking veterans right now onto this live that support that think Trump is horrible.
Okay? I'm sure you could, but we're talking about the majority.
Exactly. But since there is no data to show the majority.
All right. Well, do you have a moment for me to search? Maybe you can go to your super chat real quick.
I'm not really interested, sir, but let me be very, very clear. Okay. Just because someone served in our military at some point does not make them an expert on politics. Freaking Donald Trump didn't do anything to really support the military as far as military members while he was in. Okay, I'm going to hang up on you now then. All right, cool. Since Donald Trump really didn't do anything to support, and literally all of the new accesses to care that veterans have gotten over the last freaking 16 years have come from Democrats. If veterans want to support Trump, that's fine, but it's literally just them supporting things that are against their best interest. So that's fine. Sorry, I'm only going to be cut off so many times like that. Okay? Really. Let's go on to some super chats real quick, and then we'll move on to the next caller. I really appreciate it. My hat came undone, and it's really bothering me. Much better. All right. Spencer, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Said, hey, curious, if I want to call in to debate a caller, could I? Some of the topics I find downright offensive and would eventually love a chance to drill them a new one. I haven't really figured out a good way for people to come in and like help me debate. I used to do Dancing Spider, thank you. To have other people help me with the debates. I used to have some people up. I don't know, it didn't always work out too well. So I might make it a way. I would like to find a way to have Ari and a few other people come up every once in a while. So I need to work on that. Maybe that's something I'll do over the next few days. But right now I don't have that option, Spencer, but hopefully soon I will. So, but thank you so much for this super chat. I really appreciate that. Jocular said, I got a ton of U.S. history facts regarding the LDS church. Did you know that the church was central to defending religious freedoms? Reynolds versus the United States. Dude, you could probably feed me like LDS facts from U.S. history all day long. I probably won't know any of them. Okay, yeah. So you probably the most I know. What was that show? There was a show I watched. There was a show I watched not too long ago that was like super like on like it was like super concentrated on like the early LDS church. I think it would end up being like very like not like sci-fi or something. But anyways, I don't know. That's like American Primeval. That was it. Thank you, Chat GPT in the chat. Thank you so much. American Primeval. That's what it was. That's like the most that I know. I should ask RTP. I have talked to RTP actually we've been on a panel together and we've talked about Mormons. It's been pretty fun. Kalila, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It says, labeling U.S. as a declining world power is a mockery to the country. Don't ever disrespect America. No one rivals us in might. You better do your research. W's in the chat for Kalila up here, 100%. Making this like this whole idea that America was so like shitty, and then all of a sudden Donald Trump is here, and now it's great. Bullshit, dude. Get out of here with that crap. Get out of here with that crap. Okay? I don't even want to hear it. Kevin, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said, how did your surgery go? It went well. I'm still recovering, which is why I'm doing a lot of sitting in this chair because it keeps me off my feet from doing all this sort of stuff. But I do appreciate you thinking of me. Kalila, hey, yeah, they got the receipts of Biden dumping into terrorist organizations because ISIS definitely operate in Afghanistan. Yeah, exactly. Let's not mention the fact that Donald Trump met with the Taliban at Camp David to talk about the pullout of Afghanistan. Didn't meet with the Afghan army, just met with the Taliban. But apparently, how could ISIS be in Afghanistan? I thought ISIS was destroyed. Isn't that what Trump told all of us? Didn't he say ISIS was destroyed? What happened? I don't know. Maybe I missed something there. Thank you so much, Kalila. I appreciate that. And Raven says he literally said his source was Instagram. Did he say that? Did I miss that? Did I miss my source's Instagram? I might have missed that when he was talking. I'll have to look that up later. Guys, thank you guys so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I must have missed that. My bad. That's funny. Y'all, if you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats open. I really appreciate all the support. Thank you guys so much. Also, if you're on the TikTok side, let's see if we can get up to 200 subs today and help hit these like little tiny dinies, these little new tiny dinies that we got over here. I really appreciate that. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I made it on the chat. I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I am 31.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
What was that?
Do you support Trump?
I do not, but at the same time, I vote with my I vote for policy, and I will say that between the candidates for the last three elections, I was less disappointed that he won, but as time has been progressing, I would have to say that I do not like the way that he's going about things, especially with the whole Epstein thing. Like, everything surrounding that Epstein, it just disgusts me. But I do agree with some of the policies. And not necessarily all of them, but how do I go about this? A lot of the conversations that you're previously having with other people on the chat were mainly about economics. There was a lot of discussion about, oh, economy's doing good, economy's doing bad. Truth be told, the way that I see it from my tax bracket, it's been going to shit for the past 10, 20 years. Nothing's going good. And it's hard to justify a lot of the actions by Congress and Trump and the past few presidents. But I will say there are a couple things in the big beautiful bill, or whatever it is that you call it, that I do agree with, and some that I don't. One of the big things that I do support from the right is the basically the lockdown of the borders, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that's coming in from Mexico, and now they're circumventing that to go in through Canada, I feel like is a major issue for our country as a whole.
What do you mean a lot of this stuff? Are you talking about like smuggling?
Humans and drugs, yes.
Yeah. So 90% of like the F drug that was caught and found by the Border Patrol last year was found by American citizens, and less than like 50 pounds have come through Canada.
And my only counter argument to that is most of the focus is coming in through the South. Border Patrol, I mean, if you have, say you have 100 different points where you're trying, like imagine a huge net across the southern border, and then you have a very small net for the northern border, or the little knots in the net are a lot tighter in the South, and they're a lot bigger, so a lot more stuff can go through than the North. These are things that we can find, but we're not going to find them if we don't look for them, right?
Well, sir, we do look for them. Okay. But what I'm saying is that even at the southern border, where it primarily comes through, over 90% of that is coming from American citizens.
Coming from American citizens, as in the American citizens are getting caught with it?
Yes, the American citizens are the ones that are smuggling it.
Okay. Because, and the reason why I say that, from my understanding of the big general understanding, and I don't deep dive, and I don't have all these sources at hand. I'm trying to live my life, but I'm just outsider's perspective from this. The way that it's going is that China is giving the Mexican cartel the basic compounds to create fentanyl. Once the cartel has their hands on the fentanyl, then they try to get it within the U.S. borders. If they can hand it off to somebody that is a U.S. citizen that can make money off of it, as long as that transaction is had, the cartel wins and the citizen wins until the citizen gets caught with it. Now, with the tightening of the security of the Mexican border, it's to my understanding, and I could be wrong on this, but it is to my understanding that because of the
it's insane.
Because it's being tightened up at the South. You have everything being funneled in from Vancouver. They're going up the strait. They're dropping off onto the docks. Less than 10% of the port is actually being vetted for like all of the shipments that are coming in through Vancouver, and they're starting to get funneled in from the north. And to my understanding, the northern states.
Can I hold you up here, because we're going down this like really ridiculous,
very
like
deep rabbit hole.
Yeah, for absolutely no fucking reason. Okay, let's be straight up. Do we need more border protection? Yes. Do we need more agents at the border to make sure that we can stop, drugs from coming in? Yes. Do we need better technology at the border, more money funneling at the border, on all the borders, to make sure that that less drugs are getting into the country? Yes, 100%. The problem with that is that all of that would have happened under the Biden administration, except for Donald Trump called down to Congress to tell them not to pass the bill that would have done all of that.
Honestly, this is news to me.
Yeah, so it was the Lankford bill by Senator Lankford, who is a conservative senator from Oklahoma. Okay.
Lankford bill.
Yep,
Okay.
Senator Lankford. Okay, and he was the primary writer of it. Again, a Republican. Okay, and that bill had a significant amount of funding to hire new Border Patrol agents, to put more money at the border, to put more technology at the border, to hire more judges to process immigration cases. It even had money for the fucking wall in there. And I don't even think the wall does anything good, but it had money for the wall in there. All of that was in there. And Donald Trump called down to the Senate and said, I can't beat Biden without being able to run on the border, so I need you guys to shoot down that bill. Even though prior to that, it had 98% support in the Senate. Okay. So while, yes, we do need better Border Patrol stuff, right? 100%, right? Because we need better Border Patrol laws. We need more money at the border. We need better immigration control. All of that stuff. I 100% agree with you. Okay. We could have had this in 2023. Okay. The only reason that we can't fix it, that Donald Trump is even able to fix it right now, is because Donald Trump caused this problem 2 years ago.
Okay. This is just new information that you're giving to me, so I'm gonna have to look into it. And I don't have that much of a further opinion on that specific subject, because if what you're saying is true, that's huge.
Yeah, there's actually a Fox News interview, which I encourage you to look at, from, I think it was Fox News. Is there a Fox News or a CBS interview? I think he did both, but I can't remember which one I'm specifically talking about. But with Senator Lankford, who's the guy who was in charge of writing that bill, and it was a tripartisan, I guess you would say, bill, right? Because it was led by Senator Lankford, who's a conservative, but there was a team of him, a Democrat, and an independent, and the independent happened to be an immigration lawyer, too, right? It was a very, very, very well done bill. Like I said, 98%. Support in the Senate. Funny enough, the two people in the Senate that went against it were actually both Democrats. Funny enough. So yeah, this bill could have been passed a long time ago because the Biden administration was trying to fix this issue. Right?
Okay.
But Trump knew that he needed to be able to say, oh, Biden opened the border, Biden did this, Biden did that, Biden did this. And if that bill passed, which again he was trying to, that he wouldn't be able to do that. And it got so bad that literally Biden is, and you can look up this speech too, because Biden actually went on there after Donald Trump called down there and told him to block the bill. He actually went on stage and was like, look, Trump, hey, this immigration thing is a problem. We need to fix it. We need to fix it now. Come help me with this bill. You can come here. I will give you the credit. You can come here and help me fix immigration. And he's like, and if you don't want to come here, I'll come to you. I'll go to where you're at so we can help fix immigration together. Okay. And Trump wouldn't do it.
Yep. So, I think we're on the same page about a lot of things. If what you're saying is true, I'm kind of disgusted by it. So I'm not trying to argue that as well. I'm going to look into what you just said. Lancaster I just had it. I just wrote
Lankford.
it down. So I'm going to look into that. Lankford. Okay. I'm going to look into that, and if you're okay with it, I just want to end that topic now.
That's fine. And I do encourage literally everyone to go look that up. Please go fact check everything I say. Y'all don't know me. If y'all ain't fact checking what I'm saying, then you guys are wrong.
Yeah, I'm completely with you on that. Another topic that I want to talk about was Doge. Because of all of the stuff that was cut, I've been hearing everything about what's being cut and how it's literally killing millions of people overseas. But at the same time, it's pushing an agenda as well on stuff that we shouldn't be pushing. We shouldn't be pushing into other countries. For example, like Sesame Street and freaking Iraq, transgender studies of puppies and mice.
Neither of those things are true.
So I was looking it up, and the transgender surgery itself, it was to my understanding that they were basically spaying them, like you would spay a dog, and it was just.
It wasn't transgender studies, dude. It was transgenic. Donald Trump just got up and said transgender. It's transgenic studies.
So
he didn't even
just ask what the difference is.
Yeah, transgender is a change of how you present yourself within society as your gender. Transgenic is introducing genes from one species into another species in order to test it on medication. So what they were doing is they were taking human DNA, right, and putting it into mice, and then testing those mice for medication to see how it reacted. Because once you do that, it more closely mimics how that medication acts on humans. It's transgenic. Like genes.
that makes sense what you're saying, but it was, to my understanding, and I'm not a scientist, but I was reading some of the reports on that, and it was saying that they were spaying, and then, if I remember correctly, they got the funding for it, but they didn't. I don't know if they actually went through with the study for it, but they were trying to flip the other predominant hormone in the gender. So like estrogen, if they were male, they would give them estrogen, and vice versa, and doing the same thing that you were talking about, seeing if it was adversely affecting them when they got different medications.
Well, let me be very clear. What Donald Trump was talking about was transgenic studies. Are there studies that come from like, specific institutions and stuff like that that do study, transgender people in this country? Yes. There are all sorts of broad studies, right? And we give out specific grants to research agencies, most likely, from colleges and stuff like that, on all sorts of different types of people, transgender people, specific studies on, on homosexual people, specifically Black women is actually the biggest one, because Black women are actually the least studied people medically, in the United States, right? And so there's specific grants and stuff that go out to help, Black women specifically, all right? That had nothing to do with what Donald Trump was talking about, okay? But these are research studies that cover all sorts of types of people, right? Because if you study, a lot of times what these studies do is like, they might be specifically for, maybe to study the effects of transgender people and, like whatever on, on this type of medication or whatever. But what that does is that it then opens it up and allows other people to then be that study to actually affect other people, and then it rolls on and rolls on and rolls on into different studies, and that data is just medical data that helps us all be healthier.
Well, I guess I kind of focused on one thing when I was trying to bring up a bigger umbrella term about Doge itself. I understand exactly what you're saying. I think it's a good thing to research these types of things, because if somebody has an issue, you want to be able to fix it with medical research. I was more or less talking about, the reason why I brought it up in the first place was the bigger picture of Doge itself and all of the cuts that they've made. How do you feel about the Doge cuts?
Yeah, Doge cuts were a giant waste of time and money. Okay, I have no problem specifically with cutting funding, from cutting waste and fraud from our government. I think everyone wants that, right? And I'm not even in any way confusing the fact saying that our government is the most, efficient thing that's ever existed. I don't agree with that also. But that's not really what these things were doing. Every single dollar that, the Sesame Street thing that you're talking about, which is ridiculous because the government doesn't own Sesame Street. Obviously, that's a private thing or whatever with rights or transgenic studies, right? Like, these are just things they're picking out to try to, infuriate people. The reality of the situation is they didn't really cut that much, because every single dollar of money that USAID sends to anyone is actually just congressional appropriated funds. All right. These aren't hidden things. This isn't our government sneaking around us and trying to fund things. These were all in appropriations bills at some point in time. Okay. Whether under the Biden administration or the Trump administration or any of that. And we already had organizations within our government whose job was to make sure that money that was, supposed to go towards X, Y, and Z thing went to X, Y, and Z thing. But Donald Trump fired them the first day he came in. All right. And I would like to also mention the fact that the first place that Elon Musk went after was USAID, who doesn't have the ability to appropriate a single bit of funds, but they were investigating Elon Musk. And I find that very, as a big, conflict of interest. If Elon Musk is supposed to be cutting government funding, and the first group he goes after is USAID, and USAID was literally investigating him for fraud.
Yeah, that is sketch. I see when it comes to these big names, Elon Musk, Trump, Biden, all these, and I'm going across party lines here. They inherit their wealth, they take power, and I remember a conversation. I've been listening to you for the past, I think, hour or so. There was a mention that it's old, rich, white, or I shouldn't say just white people, but old, rich people that inherit their money, and they're making all these things, and it's driving a wedge in the American people. And I think that is part of. I think Elon Musk, if I remember what you just said. I remember hearing about it, and I don't know the details and the specifics. That is entirely sketch. And same thing with Trump and being investigated on all these different, like, there's just so much fucked up shit behind it. But the overall spending as a whole should be coming down. And there's a lot about the big beautiful bill that everybody's up in arms about, where it comes to our government spending, how we're supposed to be putting the funds. People are going to be losing their health care. People are going to be coming off of this, that, and whatever. We're getting tax credits for having a child. We're getting tax credits for this and that. And it's very convoluted and it's hard to understand. And when you hear so much noise, it's very frustrating. I apologize. Well, I shouldn't apologize for other people and their actions, but the people that you've been talking to that have been talking over you and won't let you speak has been just pissing me off and won't have like a regular conversation. I'm sorry if I'm going on a tangent that isn't conductive to.
You're fine, man. You said that, like, don't worry about it, man. There are certain people that like I can tell you may not know everything. I don't know everything, right? You might need to do a little more research, but you're a smart person that wants to have a genuine conversation. And when I'm talking to smart people that want to have genuine conversations, I have genuine conversations with it. A lot of people that I talk to on here, they're not here to have a genuine conversation, right?
Yeah,
They're here to be purposefully obtuse. Either A, they're here to just cause trouble, which is fine, and I have no problem just kicking them off. And the other group of people literally just drank all the Kool-Aid, and it doesn't matter what Trump does, they're just going to agree with it, right? And so, and that just happens. But hey, that's part of doing business on this. It's not a big deal. I think that the majority of Americans probably are closer to how you are.
Because I find myself in the middle about a lot of things when it comes, and like I said, I vote for policy. I walk into the voting booth and I look at the people who I can vote for, and I look up their policies and I vote from there. I want to say that I'm being a little bit more right on certain things, but these past 3 elections, I when it comes to the presidency, I don't think I'm ever going to vote for the Republican Party ever again because of the way that it's been handled. But on the flip side of that, I do not agree with a lot of the left and having like bigger government and more spending, because I've worked for the government and there's so much waste and abuse that I see at the lowest level that I couldn't imagine at the very top. And so trying to make actual efforts to try to bring the overall spending down, I think is a good thing. Tariffs, I know the way that I see the tariffs, and this is going on another conversation here. The way that I see the tariffs is we are essentially isolating ourselves from the world stage. And that could be a good thing and a bad thing. And it can only be a good thing if it's done appropriately. And what I mean by that is we have a really large landmass, and if we were to be invaded, we have so many defensive measures. We have mountains to the east and the west. We have the coastlines in the Pacific and the Atlantic. Big part is the south with the Mexican border, which is a whole nother long conversation that we just barely touched on. We have an ally, Canada, in the north, and I don't know why that's a whole conversation of us trying to take over Canada. That shouldn't be a thing in the first place. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, if we are going to have tariffs take care of our military, or not military spending, but our deficit, and try to take care of that, I think that it's going to be a really, really rough, maybe 5, 10, maybe 100 years, depending on how we go about it. It's going to be very rough, but we need to start from the basic, like, foundations of using our natural resources, which we can't use appropriately at the most that we can, because we need rare earth minerals like cobalt and all these different things worldwide. But I think everybody needs to pull back on their consumerism, be able to understand, hey, I might need to work on the infrastructure around me, because I think our infrastructure is like, I can't remember the number. I think it was like 60 or 70% like below acceptable. That's why you had like the I-95 bridge go down a few years back. That was because of a freak
All right, hold on. We're going. You're grandstanding like a motherfucker, bro. With no disrespect.
So
you're grandstanding like crazy, bro.
I do this all the time.
You're grandstanding so hard.
Apologies.
Okay, look, dude, it's not a matter of like, oh, it'll help in the long run. Donald Trump doesn't even know what to do with the tariffs. That's why he keeps putting them on. He takes them off. He puts them on. He takes them off. He puts them on. He takes them off. Okay. He says one day that it's to make sure that American manufacturing is coming back to America. The next day he's trying to say that he's trying to make better trade deals for our exports, right? The next day he says something else, right? He doesn't know what's going on with the tariffs because Donald Trump doesn't understand the tariffs in which he's doing, right? Like a lot of people think that it's a manipulation of the stock market, and I can't, and as fast as he's doing it right now, I can't even say that they're wrong because it's just the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, right? And then he's like, oh, I don't know why they're not lowering interest rates. They're not lowering interest rates because what Donald Trump is doing is not helping. Okay. So,
Right.
like his entire tariff like bullshit or whatever, it's not helping the US, it's not helping business, it's not helping commerce, it's not helping the economy, it's not helping our allies, it's not helping us domestically, it's not helping anything. He would literally be better off to just put a whole bunch of tariffs and have America suffer, but that's fine. He could do that, but guess what? He's gone in 3 years. And whoever runs for the president the next time is going to have to run on removing his tariffs because his tariffs are going to make prices so high. So it's never going to last at the level that he needs it to in order for it to have the effect that he sometimes says that he wants. So regardless of any of that, these tariffs are absolutely like just completely worthless, and they serve no point whatsoever.
Sorry, I just had a question on that.
What's up?
Did it start off as reciprocatory or reciprocal? I can't even talk.
Reciprocal?
Right now. But weren't Yes, wasn't he establishing tariffs that were reciprocal
No.
to other countries on their tariffs on us?
No, he said that's what he was doing, but no, he never actually did reciprocal tariffs. He tariffed an island with no human beings on it.
I'm gonna look into that because I remember seeing something about an island that's mostly corporations and that's a hub. Anyway, that's a whole.
No, it's not a corporation's HUD. Penguins live there. That's it. Heard and McDonald Islands only have penguins, and he tariffed them. Okay, he is currently right now trying to tariff Brazil, like a 50% tariff or something crazy like that, right? And we have a trade surplus with that country, and we're not even their biggest trading partner. China is, and Donald Trump specifically came out and said that he's tariffing them just because they're trying to put on trial like their ex-right-wing extremist president like Bolsonaro, or I think his name is Bolsonaro or Bolsonaro, something like that. He's literally trying to put on tariffs in order to affect the criminal trial of someone in another country that he likes. Right? Like we're not even pretending like these are like reciprocal. There's some like crazy like thing that he tried to make it sound like it was reciprocal based off of like a trade deficit type of thing. Deficits aren't tariffs. That just means that we buy more from them than they buy from us, which is going to make sense because we're a consumer nation and we're the largest consumers on the planet. So yeah, we're going to have trade deficit with people, but tariffs don't affect those deficits. Okay? Like it doesn't help anything.
Okay. Yeah, because I was thinking that it was to try to balance the trade between the two countries and allow more for domestic consumer, or not domestic consumers. I'm sorry, I'm long day at work. It was to help kickstart small companies to start up with small businesses that can replace trade with other countries that we have a deficit for and create jobs here.
Just the opposite. Actually, he's destroying millions of small businesses in the United States because millions of small businesses in the United States rely on the products that are created here, sold here, and are LLC'd here. They rely on China for their manufacturing of those goods. And they don't have the money because they're small businesses in order to produce those, to like retool entire factories, which again takes a very long time, and pay the significant amount of money that would cost to do so, and to produce here at a number of products that is high enough for a small business, because they're small businesses, right? They produce a very low amount of product. So they need the ability to retool and create a certain amount of product in a very quick amount of time, and China allows them to do that. Where the United States does not have the ability to do that, and cannot really have the ability to do that without completely destroying our labor laws and creating an entire process. And like literally, unless you want your kids building iPhones, like for less than minimum wage, like it's not going to happen.
So to flip the conversation, not to flip the conversation, but to kind of go to the next step of like where we might be at in the next 5-10 years. hypothetically speaking, what if China follows through with their word saying that they're going to invade Taiwan? We go to Taiwan's defense, we get into war, we have to cut trade with them entirely. Would it be better to try to start the cutting of ties now earlier than until the day that war is actually declared?
I mean, if you really wanted to like make that argument, I could have that conversation with you. But what Donald Trump is doing is not even affecting that, right?
Is
Because
not going about the right way.
Right, because if that was the idea, is that we are going to cut trade with China in order to isolate ourselves, then we're still significantly going to need trade with other countries. And so therefore the correct answer would be tariff the shit out of China and don't tariff everyone else. But that's not what he's doing. He's tariffing China and everyone else. So if we isolate from China, we have nowhere else to go.
Okay. I'm just trying to look at it if I was king for a day, and I don't mean that like he's king. I'm not trying to make that. I'm a figure of expression. If I was put in a position of power, my thing would be I would try to isolate trade with our adversaries, and while raising tariffs, but not to the exorbitant amounts, from my understanding that Trump is doing. Basically trying to cut off the trade so that we can have a domestic manufacturing foothold, if that makes sense. But you're saying that it's not happening appropriately the way that he's going about it, right?
Sir, it would take a decade probably at minimum in order for us to retool enough to have manufacturing. But again, even with tariffs, the cost of labor and natural resources in other countries is still going to make manufacturing cheaper in places like the Philippines or Indonesia, still cheaper than manufacturing in the United States, just with a higher cost because of tariffs. Not to mention the fact that we don't have the workers here in order to bring that manufacturing back. The level of people of opening jobs in the United States and the level of unemployed people in the United States is almost even right now. Okay. So there's no workers to bring in like to bring in these huge factories and create all of our, to create all of these factories because we don't have the workers to work them. We don't have the natural resources in order to have them, or at least we don't mine them currently. Right. And so there's no reason for a company to bring manufacturing here, even if Donald Trump tariffs everybody. Like maybe certain products might come, but over the long run, it's just going to cost the American consumer more. That's all.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta get back to work. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, and thank you for listening to me go down freaking rabbit holes. And again, it sucks listening and people are talking over each other. That sucks. It's not a genuine conversation.
Well, I do appreciate you coming up and having a conversation, man. I hope you have a good rest of your day. All right.
You as well. Have a good one.
All right, man. Bye. All right. Let's get a couple super chats. Jocular, one of these days I would love to have a chat with you and Ari. I'm a constitutional conservative and a licensed attorney, so the convos would definitely be fun. I also am LDS, left and came back, was atheist. Oh, so you left and then came back. Interesting. You don't hear much about that. I hear a lot of people that leave and then don't come back. But yeah, no, I would love to have a conversation with y'all one day, with you guys one day. I think maybe one of these days soon, especially I do like to do sub only and like paid member lives at least like once a month, hopefully twice a month. So I usually have a lot of friendlies during that time. So hopefully I can have you up for one of those days. I think that'd be great. Brendan, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said it's a palate cleanser to hear someone reasonable and not just lying through their teeth, even if he's mistaken. Yes, absolutely. Like you can have conversations that are nice and calm and relaxed. You don't have to be all crazy about it. But hey, some people refuse to have those conversations, and that's all right too. I mean, that's what we're here for. So it's all good. They sure are entertaining, though, right? Oh, why's my? Oh, I'm looking like all fuzzy over here. But thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Brendan. Kalila, while the left definitely self-destructed on their own, this cult displayed by the right is example of what not to while is the example of what not to while in the lead by far. Yeah, I mean, they are literally just in the lead and throwing throwing thumbnails in front of themselves. They sure are. He also says, we got to order a Walmart cart for those cankles now, more government spending. Yeah, Walmart. I also have a trade deficit with Walmart. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I do have a trade deficit with Walmart, unfortunately. But hey, that pickup is really worth it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Kalila. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. We've been doing about 2.5 hours. I think my time is about up. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off for the evening. I might panel hop a little bit. I'm gonna get off and get some food and all that sort of stuff. But I might panel hop a little bit this evening. So if you guys see me around, make sure you guys come by, say hi, check it out. We'll be doing some fun debates and all that fun stuff. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for the support. I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. All right. Love you guys. Mwah, 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 mwah.